Oh man, I timed that perfectly. Okay, folks, we are live with another episode of BS Busters, and we're covering the news of the week. And aside from that, we'll also be covering some of the news not of the week. We're going to be shamelessly speculating on what some of our favorite Nintendo games that they've either hinted at or told us are coming out, but we don't have any real concrete details about it. So we'll speculate on that. But first, the news of the week. So, Pinky Don.
Yep.
Introduce yourself. Everyone introduce themselves, and then you can lead us with some of the news articles that have been
that came out this week. Yeah.
Correct.
Greetings, everyone. This is Pinky Don from Video Game Facts, and I've been covering a couple of news for the past week that I wanted to share in this podcast. So the first one I like to talk about is the Sonic Hooters partnership, which was mentioned at the Tokyo Game Show, which means we clearly missed that out on last week's podcast on the Tokyo Game Show. Basically, Sega and Hooters are having a partnership to promote Sonic Forces.
I just have one question.
In Japan.
Yep.
I just have one question.
Yes.
One very small question. First of all, is the clientele that plays Sonic gonna be at a Hooters?
They get them young, man. They get them young.
And secondly, and this is my troll statement
over there in Japan.
As someone who's actually been to a Hooters, and I know what some people are going to say, you were just being a perv. No, I used to commute into to work every day for 3 years, and there was a layover between when I had to get on the second part of my route to get home. Well, actually, to get to the third part of my route where I have to drive home. And there was a mountain of traffic to get for the drive home, so I would kill like 30 minutes to an hour, and I'd eat dinner sometimes. And they actually had like a really affordable Chinese restaurant downtown, a oyster bar that had really good seafood, and a Hooters. And sometimes I eat at the Hooters because they had like a $10 burger, wings, and a beer meal. It was great. But I mean, if their Hooters in Japan is like the Hooters here in America, first of all, that's some false advertising.
Okay. Because Japanese women aren't as musky as women in America?
No, I'm saying that Hooters in general, like I've been to 2 Hooters that I've gone to, not regularly, but enough to notice some of the clientele, and I just find that false advertising. Like if someone were to tell you, hey man, we're going to a restaurant and it's called Buff Dudes, and you go in there and no one is really buff or in shape, you would be like, this is false advertising. Someone promised me, they said this is called Buff Dudes, everyone here should look buff, but everyone here looks like me. Wow. Now, Hooters isn't that bad.
Is there a law for all false advertisements?
Well, that's where the troll comes in, because Hooters is pretty much false advertisements. Is this Sonic game going to be a false advertisement? Are you going to be lying to us about the content of this game?
It's also funny that ever since the announcement of the partnership, there's been a ton of fan art of the female Sonic cast dressed up in Hooter outfits.
Let me guess. Rouge is one of them.
Yep.
I'm not surprised.
Hey man, let's keep it real, okay? Look, DeviantArt has had a field day with female Sonic characters for years. As a matter of fact, if you go to the slash fiction side of the Sonic thing, there's an entire subgenre. There's an entire alternate reality female Sonic that just I mean, look, listen, this rabbit hole goes deep, dark, and
I already know that
meters down into the ground. So there you go, folks. Like, this isn't new. Like, look, I'm surprised they haven't teamed up before. Considering Sonic wants to make out with a human princess anyway. If
Wait.
6 is to be
We're not bringing up Sonic 06.
I thought that was the opposite. The human female wanted to make out with Sonic, but I digress.
Hey man, I didn't see him trying to stop her.
Because he was dead. Well, passed out. Well, whatever you want to say.
So, are you saying that the princess slipped him a Mickey and took advantage of him while he was indisposed?
Well, judging by the scene, that seemed to be the indication. But I'm not going to go any further because I have no further evidence of.
She pulled a certain comedian on him, if you will. But that's neither here nor there, folks.
But that also a bit of a trivia. During the creation of Sonic, some of the creators actually wanted to have the Japanese creators wanted to have Sonic with a humanoid girlfriend before it was scrapped.
Yeah, I'm not cool with bestiality.
Nobody
Enough said.
except for furries, of course.
No,
Enough said, ladies and gentlemen.
the only bestiality that I can kind of sort of say, well, I could understand. I mean, I'm not saying I understand it, but I'm not going to get angry about it. I'm not going to say anything. Is maybe the animated Beauty and the Beast.
No, the hope was that he was going to turn from a beast.
What about the relationship between
right?
Pink and Mipha from Breath of the Wild? I mean, surely this is bestiality since Mipha is a Zora.
Not really. No, because the reason I say that's not bestiality is because Zoras are sentient creatures. See, the problem with bestiality isn't just because it's an animal; it's because animals can't consent.
Consent?
Yeah, I mean, because if you make that argument, that's like saying, well, if you meet another humanoid species of creatures that are sentient and humanity interbreeds with them, that's wrong. But it's like they can give consent. That's the thing. That's the problem.
Planet of the Apes, everyone.
Well, the Sonic character.
Yeah. So.
But Sonic is dead during the kiss.
Yeah, he can't give consent. That's wrong. You cannot do sexual advances to someone who cannot consent. That is wrong. And there's your moral. There's your moral, folks. Don't try and have sex with an animal that is knocked out, because that's wrong. If that's the moral you're taking away from Sonic 06, not how not to make a good game.
People say something about Snow White.
Hey man, all I know about Snow White is that she was with those 7 dwarves. That's all I got to say about that. But continue with your story, Pinky.
Oh yeah, okay. So following the next set of news is Pokken Tournament DX and Ultra Street Fighter 2 outselling Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite in the UK. I'm sure you guys already heard about it.
Well, we knew about Japan. We didn't know the UK was also getting its ass kicked. Like, can we just say that this game is another Street Fighter V? Now, is it as bad as Street Fighter V? No. Like, in terms of, like, gameplay quality, no. But the reception it's getting is about equal to Street Fighter V. The only thing I can say, the only good thing I can say is that I'm glad that Capcom didn't spend their own money to make this game, so they aren't taking the hit financially, but it's not good.
Definitely not good.
I'm actually surprised that this is coming from the UK, considering everyone's saying that or at least Europe, that's the part where Nintendo is really bad at. But damn,
it's the weakest market.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people. I've been seeing a lot of users from Europe in a forum I go to complaining about Nintendo and their sales in the UK and other European territory.
Yeah, they're like,
I try to knock some sense into them that Europe has always been Nintendo's weakest market, that they're not going to go a third party or out of business anytime soon because of how bad they're doing in Europe.
Yeah, that's the thing that, like, I think I went on a website and a guy said, yeah, well, their sales are slowing down. Like, you can barely find a Switch right now. What do you mean the sales are slowing down? It's like, well, in the UK where I'm at, I'm like, why the fuck do you think the UK is the bellwether for the rest of the industry? Like, that's their weakest market. Just because you live someplace doesn't mean that's the center of the industry. Like, Triple M, is there a KFC where you live, like a fried chicken KFC?
Oh yes,
I got one.
I think it was just 2 years ago, made another establishment of KFC. So
yeah, I mean,
this island we got like maybe was it 4 or 5 of them? So yeah.
I mean, but you have KFC. So if one of those KFC shuts down, you're not going to say, well, man, KFC's in trouble. Just because where you live.
Hell no.
Yeah, that means you're living under a rock.
No, that just means that, like, the KFC near where he lived, one of them shut down on his island. Okay, fair enough. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that on the whole KFC isn't selling enough chicken. You know? Oh man, we ain't selling enough chicken. We're up Schitt's Creek now.
Yeah.
It just means that the economy of that island is bad.
Or maybe that KFC chose a bad location. Maybe there was too much competition. Maybe, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, it's kind of like a better example would probably be like when we were kids and it would rain where we lived. And as you're a kid, you think it's raining everywhere. It's raining all over the world. No, it isn't. It's just raining where you are.
Ain't sure. It isn't raining in the Sahara, I can tell you that.
But it's raining.
That's pure luck.
I mean, my point is
Not
that
now.
the UK is not a bellwether for the rest of the industry. Now, if some jacked up stuff happened in Japan, you know, like I did a story earlier this week where like sales of game sales have been dwindling down since the 7th gen in Japan. Like with each iteration, they've been going down. Okay, that's an issue. Want to know why? Because typically speaking, when something happens in Japan, it jumps off to other places. Like if handheld smartphone gaming, which was getting hot in Japan like 7-8 years ago, right? It got really hot like 5 years ago. And then about 3 or 4 years later, it's here in the States. Smartphone gaming, which used to be like kind of a side thing, now it's a major thing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that's important. Oh man, this game bombed in the UK. Okay, well shit, that's not the major market. Now if it was a PC game, you know, PC is a huge market in Europe, but video games,
Not so.
unless it's a Sony game, because Europe is Sony land.
Yeah.
Europe is Sony land.
And the US, is it Xbox land or Nintendo land?
Well,
It seems it was Xbox Live.
It was never Xbox land. Here's the funny thing about Microsoft.
I was about to say, did you say what I thought you said?
Microsoft spent billions of dollars to dominate them. They outspent Nintendo and Sony. If you combine how much they spent on their consoles, they still outspent Microsoft and Sony combined. And they still have never dominated a console generation.
That's what I was about to say. That
Like they've never dominated a console generation.
And yet never got a red cent.
They spent, I mean, not even just money-wise. They've never dominated a console generation. The original Xbox failed. The Xbox 360 was doing okay until they had that whole Red Ring of Death thing, and that failed. And then the Xbox One also failed. I mean,
this tells the Japanese that not to buy Microsoft as their failure difficulties.
Now,
And so-
my comment is the reason why I said that because I'm just saying that by hearsay. You know, this is America, Xbox America.
It's America, son, America.
Also on top of that, not many really care the finance behind Xbox. So yeah.
That's why all those studios got shuttered. But
all those Japanese video games and anime should appeal only to us Americans.
yeah, I'm just gonna tell it like it is. You want to know who owns the American market? Okay. Initially, it was Atari. Okay, I'm just gonna lay it down. It was Atari. Okay, Atari owned the market. And then they had the crash, and Atari died. Okay, and then Nintendo came in, and Nintendo made the American market their bitch. And then Sega came in, and it was a split between Sega and Nintendo. And then Sony came in, and Sony bulldozed the market, and they owned it for 2 gens. And then Nintendo came back during the 7th gen and said, "Hey, remember when games were fun?" And they took it back. And Microsoft,
that's a dirty word.
Yeah, Microsoft has never owned the American market. They've spent billions of dollars to own it, and they've literally they would have done better taking that money and using it to wipe their ass. It would have been more useful than what they've gotten spending billions and getting nothing for it, except a division that has not made any money whatsoever and still continues to lose billions of dollars. But it's America, son. I mean, actually, you know, yeah. I'm not gonna get into real life news right now, but I'll just say this. Think about Microsoft spending billions of dollars on a losing proposition that still, even its mission statement has never succeeded, and how, you know, it was like just a complete waste of money. And you can see a lot of parallels between how Microsoft runs their business and a lot of how American businesses run their business, and why a lot of American businesses fail miserably. But that's
they're too big to fail.
Well, yeah. Well, the only saving grace for Microsoft is that they have a monopoly on like 2 other markets. So because of that, they essentially, because they have a monopoly on 2 other markets, they basically can, like, with all the billions of dollars they pissed away on the Xbox division, that was only 1% of revenue lost, of losses that they recorded. 1%. Billions of dollars, 1%. That is ridiculous. That is insane. That's like a little pinprick, and you just, like a little blob of blood comes out. You're like, oh, that hurt so much. It's like,
really
that rest of the blood that you still got pumping. Yeah, I know, that little prick though, that hurt so much. but
All that talk about Sony and Microsoft, that leads us to the next piece of news. Sony CEO Andrew House is denying the success of the Nintendo Switch, believing it won't affect PS4 sales.
No, it won't. Yeah, he's absolutely right. It will not affect the PS4 sales. What will affect PS4 sales is the fact that people realize that the games are getting shittier. And you know what's really gonna hurt their sales? When people realize they can get the same games they're getting on the PS4 on the go for a slight downgrade in graphical fidelity, but they can take them anywhere they want.
Excuse me,
really
ma'am.
gonna hurt the PS4 sales.
Waitress, can I make an order? Yes, thank you. Could I have a gin tonic and make it a straight shot?
So how much do you guys want to bet next year when the Switch is kicking everyone's ass? Like the triple Xbox is a failure? Because come on, man, we all know the triple Xbox is going to be a failure.
It's a failure before it even releases.
Not unless they pull some sort of a miracle.
What's that song? What's that old gospel song? Are you ready for a miracle? Are you ready for a miracle?
Yeah.
We're all ready for a miracle, but Microsoft's they've been waiting on a miracle with the Xbox division for 17 goddamn years. I mean, how long you got to wait?
Yeah.
Look, even Jesus would come up to the Xbox division and be like,
wait,
I can't help you.
Wait. It seems like we have a miracle right here, but that's how you look at it. So apparently, some time ago, Phil Spencer was promoted to being, what's the title again? Was it
head of games? I think
it was vice president of the Xbox division, right? The Xbox gaming, keyword gaming division. Like, okay.
Yeah, but you know what that means, right?
It means that Microsoft is supposed to become a third party.
Well, it means that, and also the fact that like they don't have they're gonna pull the plug on the Xbox as a console. Like the triple Xbox is their last hurrah. They're gonna be like, look, triple Xbox, we don't have exclusives. The Xbox will continue as like a virtual type thing. Like you'll be able to get games on your PC and on your triple Xbox or your Xbox One, but this is it. You know, like that song by Player. This is it. Make no mistake who you are. This is it. This is it. This is it.
Yeah. Now I did post this comment on Video Game Facts about what was going on with the Xbox, and especially with the whole they might probably spin this division for as a third-party company. I'm like, you know what? I think that they've already made or jumped one step in that pool with Minecraft. I'm like, you know what? They're like first/third party right now. Now, someone did reply to me that no, that they're just second party. But I'm like, no, that's not the case. Because if they were /second party, then Minecraft would only be on the Xbox and well, no, not just on the Xbox. Minecraft would only be on the Switch or the Wii U or on a Nintendo console, nevertheless. But hey, since you can get that on the Xbox and also PC, that's more like third party to me, but I digress.
Oh, that is third party. That is totally third party. Not to mention that, I mean, let's keep it real, folks. Who wants to think that the next Halo, not Halo 6, but the one after that, is going to be on everything? even whatever Sony's console is. How much you want to bet?
I'm betting $5.
$5. Whoa, hold down, big spender. No, but in all seriousness, though, yeah, I just
Actually, Halo 7 or 8 being on everything, but not 6. Not yet.
You know, I totally see Microsoft just basically taking the IPs they have and farming them out to people, kind of like how Sega does with a lot of their IPs. Like I could see the next Fable game being farmed out to somebody, and that's gonna be your next Fable game. Because Microsoft just doesn't have, they don't have it. They don't have it. Microsoft, like here's the thing. Sony at least is a hardware company. They know how to make hardware. Nintendo is a hardware and software company. They can do both. Sega was a hardware and software company. They can do both. Microsoft is neither. They don't really make games.
The Xbox is the most powerful console, you know, in the 6th generation, the OG Xbox, and it still couldn't, still couldn't beat the PS2.
Well, not only that, the OG Xbox was actually, in terms of power, I would say that in terms of versatility, it was the most versatile of the 6th-gen consoles. Powerful, I'm going to have to go with the GameCube just because of what the GameCube can do and how much power it was drawing and the size, you know, of the GameCube. I'm gonna go with the GameCube the most powerful.
Yeah, so strong.
But in terms of just the amount of stuff you could do with the original Xbox, like, and the 360 was not a slouch. These people spent billions with a capital B of dollars, and they still could not dominate a market. Billions. Like if someone said, if a billionaire came up to me, said, hey man, I'm gonna give you $10 billion. I want you to open up enough of your establishments to take over one of the quadrants of Washington, D.C. I'd be like, sure, I could do it. But they couldn't even do that. That's how pathetic the Xbox division is. And they're like, yeah, Phil Spencer got promoted. Yeah, he failed upwards. That's what Phil Spencer did.
You should also mention how the online service for the Xbox One could go out of service, like with the original Xbox, and eventually the Xbox 360.
I mean, look, it's Microsoft. I mean, it's an American company. Like, I know this is gonna sound really bad, but after Atari fucked up the video game market, like torpedoed it, I just don't trust American console manufacturers at all. Like when Microsoft came in, it's gonna be an American console. I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna be this again.
All right, it's been quite a while since I've looking at the live chat, but yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing Gil's Grant is actually saying isn't Mario on a cell phone now? It's like yes it is.
Yes, Mario is on a cell phone, but here's my question to Gillespie Grant: is that game like a mainline title? Is that game like the next game? Like if you want to play a core Mario game, you have to play it on a Nintendo system.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Nintendo or any representative of them actually said that it's part of a mainline game, but it's just me.
I mean, it's a spin-off. I mean, like, here's the thing. Nintendo has had a lot of spin-offs on a lot of stuff. Hell, Mario Teaches Typing was on PC. Does that mean that Nintendo is third or second party? Come on,
Mario's missing.
No, it was made by a different company, but Nintendo licensing their product to that company.
Really? Well, they made Super Mario Brothers Special Edition. They made that shit themselves for PC. Okay. Is that also? I mean, don't play devil's advocate here, man. You know what we're saying. Yeah. Don't play semantics. Don't play word games here, sir.
But you know, I rather don't mind these kind of analytical, because say at least with Minecraft, I haven't seen any IP of it actually on a mobile. On mobile, so
no, there's you can get Minecraft mobile.
Oh really?
Yeah, there is a mobile version of Minecraft for smartphones. Yeah, I don't know if it's on iPhone, but I know you can get it on Android. I know that's the version.
Of the next Doom, where it runs on every device ever.
What do you mean? Where they're gonna port it to every device? Look, they spent like $1.1 billion on Notch's studio. They're gonna get their money. They're gonna get their money back. And they're gonna milk the shit out of Minecraft. They're gonna milk that cow until it's dead and dehydrated.
Until the sequel, which I doubt is ever gonna happen. All the shit in the original.
They're gonna keep on doing expansions for it. Like, how much you want to bet they're gonna do a Halo expansion for Minecraft? Like, now you can use Halo blocks, and you can have your Master Chief avatar. You can make an energy blade. You know? Or you can be the Arbiter. Actually, I think they already have that shit. Yeah. I don't know why. Look. I'm slow on the draw. How much you want to think they do a not Left 4 Dead, Gears of War? And how much you want to bet they do a Fable pack for the shit?
I definitely can see that coming.
A Conquer pack. Hey, you can now play as Conquer, making Conquer fans even angrier. Like, fuck you, Microsoft!
gosh.
Moving on to the next news. Wii Shop closing early 2019.
That's a sad thing.
So you have basically a year and some time to get your last Wii Shop purchases.
Yeah, and the Wii points will all expire by March 2018.
Well, the
But
time.
like I said, you better get your Wii stuff now, son. Better buy those games.
Let's see. The only games I bought besides the virtual consoles is Mega Man 9 and 10.
Same here.
Is there any other Wii?
I would tell anyone get Chrono Trigger, Ogre Battle for the SNES and N64.
Any
Earthbound.
original games made for the Wii.
Lost in the Wind. That's a really good game by Konami. That's actually pretty good. There's like 3 games, and they're kind of small little bite-sized experiences, but overall they're fun titles.
And I know that there's one Wii game that stars a bunch of buff guys where you had to pose to fit into.
Oh yeah, I know that game. Yeah. That's the game where I saw a thing and I said, "This is the most homoerotic game ever."
Wait, isn't that a shmup game?
No, it's one of those gesture games where like you're chasing some guy, but that's a physical release. That's not. I mean, there might be a Wii title shop, but it's also a physical release. Yeah, you have to flex and go through these. You're chasing this guy who stole something from you, and you got to chase him down. But in order to chase him down, he busts through these walls, and you have to flex with the Wiimote in order to get
through some way.
Yeah, the right pose to chase him down. Yeah, it's literally the most homoerotic game. Well, no, actually, the most homoerotic game are those weird Chicken Tensei games where you play as these buff dudes shooting like monsters and stuff, and it's like the weirdest shoot 'em up ever. But this is a close second. Any other news?
Let's see. The Commodore 64 Mini coming 2018.
What?
The Commodore 64 Mini coming to 2018.
I guess that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on, are you nostalgic about the Commodore 64?
I never played any Commodore 64.
How you like your games?
Well, it depends on if you had a 64. Like me, I have a Commodore 64, and I have like 4 games for it. They're good games, but I mean, would I go out and get a Commodore 64 Mini? Not unless it comes with a lot of other games that I've never had.
And they're still good as well.
Well, the Commodore 64 was a pretty good little title. I mean, a pretty good little system. I mean, actually, technically, it was much better than the Atari. To tell you the truth, it was much better than the Atari. Multi-plats for those 2 systems, generally speaking, the Commodore 64 version would be better.
Okay, moving on. IGN Star Fox 2 review causing backlash.
Oh, God.
Wait, there was a backlash for that?
Probably because they were hating on it.
Yeah.
6.5 out of 10, if I got it right.
Well, I'm gonna say something, and I know some people are gonna get angry at me because they think as a Nintendo fan you need to love everything Nintendo does. Star Fox 64 is a worse game than the original Star Fox, or not Star Fox 64, Star Fox 2. Everything that they were trying to do.
It was right at the end of the SNES.
Well, I mean, it has a lot of really good ideas in it, but what they were trying to do was better realized with Star Fox 64. And a lot of ideas that were in Star Fox 2 were translated better onto Star Fox 64, like all range mode and the tanks and like all that cool stuff. That's translated better with a better system, with more power behind it, more processing power. So,
and people are going to use that as the excuse of saying power is everything in the console wars.
I mean, for what they were trying to do in Star Fox 2 had really good ideas, but the execution, because of the limitations of technology at the time, they did the best they could. You have all-range mode in the game. You have the chicken walker from Star Fox 0 in Star Fox 2. You have branching, you have the branching paths and like you finding stuff. Like really, for the amount of depth that's in Star Fox 2 is amazing. Like there are tons of games like that on the SNES where it's like, the amount of depth in this game is really intense. Like, this is a really complicated stuff going on under the hood. The problem is that, like, it looks like a whole bunch of melted Legos that got glued together.
Now, also on top of that, the latest Nintendo voice chat, there was that they showed. It was the person. They got the person that was reviewing Star Fox 2 to an extent the entire SNES mini collection, and the way he explained how he reviewed Star Fox 2 is basically how he reviewed all the other games. Which, like going by the hindsight 2020 analogy, which I think people brought this up already, but like comparing all these games with each other, like basically comparing Super Mario World,
comparing 90s standards games to 2017 standards of gaming.
Yeah. So there's
was he comparing them to? Do they hold up?
Yes. If they hold up to this day.
Well,
so,
I mean that's actually pretty fair.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like even the NES Mini has games that are like, this is a filler game. like
Ice Climber.
I mean, listen, I know there's some people who love Ice Climber, but that game is just meh. I'm sorry. It's a meh game. Balloon Fight is better than Ice Climber. Yeah, I said it. Kid Icarus is better than Ice Climber. Kid Icarus is kind of like, it gets kind of hard as you get further into the game. But I mean, I'm just saying that like not every collection of video games is gonna be, not everything's gonna be gem. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all here. Let me look at the list of SNES mini games. SNES mini games list.
Now, I think
it's smaller than the NES one, if anybody's wondering.
No, I know. I'm just looking at the games. Okay, here are the 21 games.
I was trying to watch the Mario RPG 7 of the Legend Stars. That's when my tongue got twisted.
Here are the games. Okay, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart. Super Mario World, that's classic. That game holds up. We can all agree that Super Mario World is just as playable now as it was 20-something years ago.
Back then.
We can all agree that game has stood the test of time. Super Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart. I understand why they put in the system, but can we all agree that Super Mario Kart on the SNES is not the greatest game ever?
No, people would argue at 64 that's the best of all Mario Kart titles.
I mean, like, here's the thing, okay? If you want to play a racing game, F-Zero is better than Super Mario Kart. In terms of just straight up racing on a track with a vehicle on the SNES. Like in my opinion, I think it's better than Mario Kart. Like Mario Kart has some good ideas, but first of all, it's really slow. Mario Kart is.
I was about to say that's the first one. It's kind of slow purpose.
Yeah, it's kind of slow. The handling, even for some of the so-called more agile characters, is garbage. The graphics are kind of boring.
On the AI.
Yeah, not boring to me, but I digress.
The AI are cheating.
Well, I mean, but they've always had that in every Mario Kart game. You have that shitty rubber banding where it's like, I've hit every single boost. I've gotten the best weapons. I've drifted correctly.
I was going to say that the AI somehow sometimes get that one item and
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah,
Also,
that crappy
also
rubber
the
band.
AI have their own signature weapons.
Well, not really signature weapons, but like weapons they tend to get more often than you would. But you know what I'm saying, right? But I mean, like Super Mario Kart, we can all agree like it's not the best Mario Kart in the series. I know it's the first Mario Kart, but they're better Mario Karts.
I was gonna say
there's at least
first Mario
one
Kart
worse.
shows how it's first and how ancient it is.
I mean, look, we give it a lot of passes because it's the first game, but subsequent Mario Kart games are better, is what I'm saying.
What about Super Circuit?
Actually, to me, Super Circuit and the original Super Circuit at least has hills and dips. There's depth to the racetracks. Mario Kart is just flat. The original is just flat. It's just, oh god, I hate
I was gonna make the joke that
well, the GBA was
two-dimensional.
slightly more powerful than the Super.
But Mr. Red Fox, flat is justice.
it's just flat. I'm just saying like that. But okay, let's move on. Okay, then you have The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Okay, you know, I will readily admit that's like my favorite Legend of Zelda of all time. But even taking out my bias, that is a solid Zelda game. That is the Zelda game that set the formula that this series has been using. Even Breath of the Wild uses a lot of those same tropes. Like, even now, that is the bellwether thing, okay? So we can agree that game, they had to put that game on the system.
No argument to me.
F-Zero. I mean, come on.
Oh
they had
god,
to have,
people could get salty on that.
yeah, they had to have F-Zero, okay? They had to have Captain Falcon so that we could hear that awesome Mute City music, you know. Yeah. Which really should have been Captain Falcon's theme music, in my opinion, because his home course's theme music does not fit him at all. But that's just me. But then you have Super Metroid. That makes sense. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. I would have preferred the new challengers, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. That game is still solid. Super Punch Out. Fair enough. You gotta have Little Mac there. Super Castlevania 4. Fair enough. It's an iconic title. Donkey Kong Country. Same thing. Boom. Mega Man X. Mega Man X. Come on, folks. It's like it's one of the seminal Mega Man games ever.
Iconic.
Yeah. Mega Man
I'm
X.
speechless.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to. Okay, Kirby Superstar. It's a compilation game, but it's a fun compilation game, so fair enough. Final Fantasy 3. Okay, cool, perfect. Star Fox, the original. Okay, that's like my favorite Star Fox even to this day. Fair enough. Okay. Super FX. Okay. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Okay. Personally, I would have taken that shit off.
I wouldn't.
I would have taken that
What?
off. I don't like Yoshi's Island. That's like my least favorite Mario game.
F you!
But fans have been wanting to play the original Yoshi's Island for a long time now. It hasn't been out in the virtual console since ever.
Because they lied. That's why I hate that game. Because they lied. They lied. And they lied to us. Those sons of bitches looked us in the face and said this was the sequel to Super Mario World. Yoshi's Island is not the sequel to Super Mario World.
It's a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel.
It's not a prequel. It's its own thing.
Yeah, still
Sorry.
going by the story, but
Trump,
yeah.
you really got owned there.
If they want a prequel, if you want a prequel to Super Mario World, go play Super Mario Brothers 3. That's your prequel.
Hey, at least it gives more backstory to Mario than what usually.
And Yoshi.
No, we already have a prequel to Super Mario Brothers. It's called the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I go with Yoshi's story more than
Well, I
the
gotta
movie,
give it
buddy.
to you. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And we also have the Super Mario Brothers Super Show with Captain Lou Albano. That's all
Yoshi's
the
story
people
gives
we
more
need.
game story than that live actions gave to the Mario himself.
We already have Yoshi backstory. It's in the Super Mario World manual, and also in the Super Mario World cartoon show. We don't look. We didn't look. Yoshi can have his own game. I don't look. It doesn't. Look, the game is fine and dandy, but to call that shit a sequel to Super Mario World is insulting to everyone here.
I'm sorry, but I gotta laugh at that because I actually love that.
Now I would say he's actually right, but then also not right, because it's basically a game that came out after Super Mario World, but then at the same time, it's not a sequel just in the continuity phase. So this game
Not even that. Like, when I say it's not a sequel, I mean it doesn't. Okay. It doesn't. The physics of the game aren't like Super Mario World. The graphics of the game aren't like Super Mario World. How it handles isn't like Super Mario World.
I'm gonna pull this
going in
one on
technicality, but I bet they're gonna be.
you probably played it and loved it. Super Mario World 2.
No, I bought the game. I was like, yeah, this is Super Mario World 2. It's great. It's a sequel. And I played it. And I'm like, this shit's not a sequel.
And that's how I'm gonna.
And here's the thing. I don't want anyone to tell me, oh, you just don't understand, because I've played games. I've played games that have
double standard with. You're using the same standard with that as with Yoshi's.
No, because it's basically created its own spinoff. Like the Yoshi's Island games are all those games are sequels to Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, but Yoshi's Island is not a sequel to Super Mario World. It plays nothing like Super Mario World. You know what does play like Super Mario World?
And that's what I'm going to use on you, because this is how it happened with Super Mario Land.
Super Mario Brothers? Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yes. That was play style than the original and the third.
Those games play like Super Mario. Like, really, New Super Mario Brothers U feels more like a sequel to Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario World than Yoshi's Island.
I'm guessing Jewel Rider was saying Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, you're right. It originally was Doki Doki Panic, but you want to know what the difference is? A lot of the various tropes and enigmas and how should I put
it was
this?
all a dream, you prick.
No. A lot of the tropes and innovations that were introduced in Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, it was called Super Mario Brothers USA, actually continued in the franchise, picking up enemies and throwing them. Mario didn't do that in the first Mario, and he didn't do that in the real sequel, Lost Levels. He did that in Doki Doki Panic, aka Super Mario Brothers 2.
But then you can say almost the same thing about Yoshi Island. At least not with mechanics.
Not really.
Not with the mechanics, but
I mean, they keep the weird fluttery jumps, but Shy Guy is from Super Mario 2, aka Doki Doki Panic. Those weird other enemies, like a lot of those enemies that are in Yoshi's Island don't appear in mainline Mario games. Not all of them. Some of them are, interconnected, but some of them it's like, who the hell is this?
Like I said some, not all.
So, I mean, physically it doesn't play. They don't play similar to each other. So for me, I was like,
Yeah, I can see.
I would throw that game out of there and put something else in there. I don't know. Maybe they have Earthbound. Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger wasn't nominated, by the way, if you're wondering.
Chrono Trigger would work for me. But then instead of that, they give us Super Mario RPG, another excellent RPG. Legend of the Seven Stars.
This seems to be the RPG console here.
Well, I mean, the SNES was essentially the RPG console for this 16-bit generation. Then you have Contra 3: The Alien Wars, aka Super Contra. Great game. Always worth owning. Secret of Mana. Kind of an RPG, more like an action-adventure game with RPG elements. Earthbound, yeah. Any game that lets me fight a giant pile of puke is always...
And a space-aborted fetus.
Well, we never know.
Thank you for Nightmare.
We never know if Gygus is an aborted fetus, but like the whole point about Gygus is that you don't know what he is, unless you played the original Mother. But most people haven't, so you'll never know.
Yeah.
But for me, I did play the original Mother, so I know what he really truly is. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so yeah, a game, you fight a giant pile of puke. That's awesome. And ladies who are really angry at a certain time of the month, and hippies, and just all types of insane stuff. It's Earthbound. It's insane.
I was gonna say there's something. Honestly, just say TMI women.
Well, I mean, there's some stuff in Earthbound where it's like, damn.
Yeah, really
Like
out of this world.
Well, no. Well, you play it and you're like, it's like when you're a kid, you aren't really paying attention to stuff. But then you get older, and you're like, this game is rated like E for everyone. This is not a game for kids. There's some messed up stuff in here.
It later got a T rating when it got released to the Virtual Console on the Wii U.
That makes sense, but it's still, I wouldn't call that for kids. Super
Yeah,
Ghouls and Ghosts. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Yeah, that's a great game.
That's a rump. Your rump's gonna see a lot of game
Isn't that game kind of
overs
broken?
from that game.
What, Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard. Like, personally speaking, I would have preferred Final Fight over Ghouls and Ghosts or Demon's Crest over Ghouls and Ghosts, because Ghouls and Ghosts is like...
Is Super Ghouls and Ghosts a remake of Ghosts and Goblins or a continuation?
It's kind of like... how can I put this? It's kind of like how Super Castlevania is technically a retelling of the original Castlevania,
Yeah.
but also kind of not. Like, you can treat it either way. Well, that's the same thing with Super Ghouls and Ghosts. You can treat it as a revamped telling of the original, or you can treat it as a weird sequel. Either way, it's a fun game, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. Like, unnecessarily hard. Like, just
Breaking your rear end bone hard.
like throw you out of a 10-story window hard. That's how hard Super Ghouls and Ghosts is. It's unnecessary. Like, personally, I would rather have Final Fight 3 or Final Fight 3 is like the best. Final Fight 3 or, like, if it has to be a Capcom game, Final Fight 3 or Breath of Fire 2 or I don't know. Just not Ghouls and Ghosts.
What the?
And then the last game is Star Fox 2, which until now was unreleased. Why are they mad? It's a game that wasn't released.
Also, something to note for you guys: you have to Star Fox 1 in order to unlock this.
Fair enough. I mean, like, here's the thing. I already have Star Fox 2 in a repro ROM, so
Yeah, not again. I keep saying this, correct? It's not. It wasn't an official release, so.
look. The game was full and complete. It was
Complete.
gold. No, it was completely gold. They just never released it. It was done.
Well, I've heard the people who actually played the repo card. There was some stuff in there that they couldn't have played, or at least one stage they couldn't have played. But
No,
maybe
man,
maybe that was just a debug mode.
Look, man. I have the cartridge. It's a repro card. It's not the official release, but it's fully complete. You can play it from beginning to end. You can get to the ending.
I'm not gonna say fully complete, almost
It's
complete.
there. Look, man, it's there.
Yeah, it's there, but not.
I don't particularly. Just for me personally, I don't particularly feel like spending $80.
To just get an unreleased game.
Well, yeah, because I already have all these games.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean,
actually,
and
not
I think
official, but
I think a lot of people are feeling the nostalgia. But this leads back to the Commodore 64. Do people have that same level of nostalgia for the Commodore 64?
maybe a
Probably
few.
not.
Very few.
Yeah, it's a slim margin. It's not like, maybe if it was like a Sega, but Sega has so many
And if it was
all-in-one
done well.
consoles. they have so many all-in-one consoles that no one cares about. I don't know.
Now for the
They
last,
love doing that.
now for the last two news, and they're pretty short. One, Mario can roll now in Super Mario Odyssey. And two, the European Splatfest for Splatoon 2 is, would you like toilet paper roll? Should toilet paper roll be in front or hang behind?
Man, I like the Japanese one. I like power versus stamina. I like that one better.
Yeah.
Why don't we get power versus stamina? Jeez.
Yes,
Right now, I've heard that that American Splatoon players are saying that if this toilet roll Splatfest were to come to the Americas, they will quit Splatfest altogether.
Well, it is kind of stupid, but I mean,
I was about to say that would be an easy Pearl win.
Look, let me put it this way. No matter which side wins that Splatfest, everyone loses. Because look at all the puns. We flushed the competition. We wiped the floor with them.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough layers to
I was
stand
gonna
up
say,
to the competition.
There's so many puns already to work with that alone.
Well, I mean, puns are the lowest form of humor. But that's neither here nor there. So that's all the news of the week.
I
Cuphead
remember
came
my
out.
last one.
Yeah, Cuphead came out, and I've been playing it. I have some footage of it. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I have footage of me playing the game and dying horrendously.
I was going to say that.
This game is hard. This game does not. This game. Don't let the aesthetic fool you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hold back.
Yeah,
Have you gone
basically.
past the tutorial level?
Yeah, I did. It took me about 20 to 30 seconds. Here's what I'll say about Cuphead. Cuphead feels like if Gunstar Heroes and Alien Soldier went to Las Vegas, got freaky, and had a baby, and then Super Contra and Super Turrican went to Vegas and got freaky and had a baby. Those two babies grew up and had a baby, and that baby was a hipster who liked wearing 30s outfits, like had pomaded hair and a mustache and a handlebar mustache, and was like all hipsterish and stuff. That's Cuphead, because the game plays like those games. It has the frenetic pacing of a Super Turrican and a Super Contra. It has almost everything is just a boss fight from Alien Soldier, and it has the bone-crushing difficulty of Alien Soldier, because Alien Soldier is not an easy game. It's very hard.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and keep in mind that everything in this game tries to kill you. Everything.
Well, yeah, everything, and they don't really even though that tutorial's there, it's not a very helpful tutorial, because there's certain things they don't tell you, hey man, you can parry attacks from bosses if they're a certain color, or hey man, you can if you time your parries correctly, you can get to higher areas and dodge stuff. They don't tell you that. You just got to figure it out on your own. So
I love those kind of tutorials.
Yeah, those type of tutorials where vital information that would help you get farther into the game, you have to figure out on your own. Yeah, that's just great.
Yeah, that's the fun of discovery.
No, that's not the fun.
That's from the game developers.
That's called a shitty tutorial.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm a bit of a sadist.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what.
If you reveal all those tricks, then it'll be considered as hand-holding in the tutorial level.
No, because even if they tell you that, this game is balls to the wall hard. I'll tell you what's discovery. Okay, the first time you discovered in Link to the Past that you could basically go up to those green choo-choos and sprinkle them with the magic powder and turn them into these weird dudes that you could talk to. That's a nice discovery. You know, it's like, hey, or you figured out, hey, those death fairies, if I sprinkle them with this magic stuff, they'll turn into normal fairies and I can replenish my health. That's a nice discovery. You know, someone's like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. Let's see what happens, and it works out. Not telling you, hey, you can parry boss's red-colored attacks.
Hey,
I kind of needed to know that. I feel like
hey,
Dr. Evil in Austin Powers. I'm the boss, folks. I need the info. How am I? Throw me a freaking bone here, people.
well, I guess with my experience, not every game that came with a manual didn't tell you everything.
Well,
Especially
yeah,
Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. Street Fighter 2 didn't tell you everything, but it gave you general just ideas. But this is this is vital information. But then again, you're gonna die a lot in this game, so fair enough. Oh, here's a little tip for people who have the game. If you can beat the levels where you don't have to fight a boss, like the scrolling levels, without killing anything, you'll get a P next to your name, which is the pacifist sign. If you can beat 3 or 4 levels with the pacifist sign, you can unlock a color scale that turns everything black and white, so it really looks like a 1930s cartoon.
Yeah, sweet man.
Yeah,
that's gonna make it harder to see those pink dots. There's no way you could parry anything in that game.
No, you can parry red-colored enemies, but that's the only thing that you're allowed. Like you can't like shoot anyone or except parry the enemies when you have to. But aside from that, you're just SOL. So yeah.
No, I mean grayscale. Like if you're allowed to turn the game grayscale.
Well, because the red enemies when they're in grayscale look darker than lighter colored enemies. Like you'd be able to tell that it's an enemy that you can parry. So, but anyway, yeah, it's this game is Cuphead is soul crushingly difficult, and I'm loving it.
I think it's one of the best looking games to come out this year.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous game, but it's just it's ball crushingly hard. Like you're gonna need a cup to play this game.
Now let's move on to the speculation.
So let's move on to the next section, which is speculation. So the first game we're gonna speculate on is Shin Megami Tensei is coming to the Switch.
I have not had to be honest. I've never played any of the Shin Megami Tensei games.
You didn't play Persona Emblem? Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
Oh, I have the game.
I
have the game, but I just haven't started playing it yet.
Damn, you need to get on that, son. Yeah. Here's what I'll say and this is my first. I'll throw out the first speculation. I think it's going to be a sequel to Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Wow, that's putting it out
there.
there.
It did not sell very well.
No, it was over 1 million. It was over 1 million.
Oh, it did? Oh.
For a new IP that no one never heard of, that's decent. And it's different enough from Fire Emblem that you don't get Fire Emblem fatigue from it. And it's different enough from Shin Megami Tensei that you don't get Shin Megami Tensei fatigue from it. And I think it could be a nice little, Nintendo only. Like me personally, I would love to see another Shin Megami Tensei game. Maybe this one has you instead of you in like the real world, solving problems and then going into the Mirage dimension. Maybe this time you're in the Mirage dimension and you play as the Mirages and you have to team up with the humans on the outside world.
If it's going to be a Tokyo Mirage Sessions sequel, is it going to continue using Fire Emblem characters, or will they use different characters from a different Nintendo IP, like Pokemon?
I don't know.
Or Earthbound?
I'd be cool with them using more Fire Emblem characters, just because, those are kind of recognizable. They could use Nintendo. They could use other Nintendo IPs. They could use Zelda. They could use more traditional Fire Emblem things. Not Fire Emblem, Shin Megami Tensei characters with demons and stuff. I need more of that J-pop in my life because here's a dirty little secret about me, folks. I love J-pop, not all of it, but especially the stuff from the '90s. I'm a huge fan of that. Like if you watch any of my videos, I always play Born Legend or Night of Fire. Yeah.
Oh yes, you do.
Or that awesome theme song of going for a touchdown in iShield 21. Like I love J-pop. Like I and here's the dirty little secret, folks. If you're in my age group and you watch Jim and the Holograms is basically J-pop music. It's J-pop music. We grew up watching J-pop.
Rock is undeniably the superior music genre, hands down.
What?
Rock is undeniably the superior music genre. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you've crossed the line there, sir.
Just be glad that boy band pop.
No. The best music genre of all time has been and will always be funk.
Classic?
No, funk. Funk. Funk.
But didn't Watch Mojo claim that that funk music is dead since the end of the 70s?
I hate when they say that.
They can go funk themselves. No, I'll tell you why funk is still on, because funk has almost as much as blues and jazz has fused itself into other forms of music that it's parasitized and entangled itself with other forms of music. It's infected everything else. So even music that you're like, nah, man, this is R&B, this is rock. It's got some funk in it.
Funk in it.
They put some funk in that rock and roll. Now it's junk. Actually, no, it's jazz. Like they mix funk into all types of stuff. They put funk into jazz, it becomes junk. They put funk into rock, it becomes Jacques. no, frock. It becomes
I was about
frock.
to say what?
They put funk into rap. They put funk into pop. It becomes Bruno Mars.
Oh god.
It literally turns into Bruno Mars. Yeah, funk is ubiquitous, my friend. Funk is like the force. It surrounds us. It's around us. It's a part of all of us. And when you got it, you
This
know
is why I
it.
gotta work with these boys here.
But yeah, I would love more J-pop and Tokyo Mirage. But you guys give your speculations. Go ahead.
I don't know, but it seems like they only named it Shin Megami Tensei. Was it 5, right?
They just said Shin Megami Tensei. Like, we don't know.
Said Shin Megami.
They just said Shin Megami Tensei. So.
All right, just by that, they can probably add something else on top of it, because just by the name alone, they're pretty open for whatever choice they would like to put on there. And if they wanted to use such Nintendo IPs, they can do so without even putting in Nintendo's IP on the title.
I just wanted another one. But give your speculation. What could it possibly? Could it be another Shin Megami, just a straight up Shin Megami Tensei game? Could it be a?
Here's my speculation. Since it's just called Shin Megami Tensei, I'm suspecting it's going to be a remake of the very first Shin Megami Tensei game.
Oh God, that game is rough. That game is rough. Look, Shin Megami Tensei is a hard title.
But they could probably say they could redeem themselves by remaking that game.
And make it less difficult. But then you'll have the purists complaining about being too easy.
What, Shin Megami Tensei?
Yeah, the original. You'll have if they remake it and make it a bit easier, you'll have fans complaining about it being too easy, like they did with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Well, they wouldn't, because the first Shin Megami Tensei never came to. It was only in Japan. So I don't know how they'd be
down there.
complaining. Most people never played it.
Yeah, it's basically just the purists who play the original from emulators.
I don't know how they do that because it never came out in.
And that's about it. Anyone else who would like to speculate?
Yeah, nothing,
that's a
'cause
little
I've never
tricky for
really
me.
played those kind of games.
Ditto for me. Give a roll here and say that I'm thinking that if they actually could a new type of evil to work with the Shin Megami series, then it might actually be a twist that people from all into when it comes to the Switch. But then again, that's probably just me.
I don't know, man. I like Shin Megami Tensei, but I don't know if it would like I don't know. I don't have a.
I mean, if anything, they would have to, if they did try something real different with the Switch, like they like a feel of smoothness or roughness with whenever you do a certain hit, then you might be able to figure out some hit. I'm just rolling dice here.
I mean, it could be. I mean, personally, like I said, it could be either. What I would really like to see is, if not a Tokyo Mirage, another Tokyo Mirage, what if they redid the two Shin Megami Tenseis that came to the SNES? Because those games are kind of fun. A little insane, but fun. And very hardcore.
That's not a bad idea either.
They use the FX
That's something
chip.
to think about, isn't it?
They use the FX chip. They had pseudo 3D graphics. Bet you didn't know that.
And I bet you that the moment somebody tries to put them in the true 3D, it's gonna be an uncanny valley.
No. Nah. Not with those weird monsters they have in Shin Megami Tensei. No. Not those weird monsters and sylphs and they classically Greek architecture. So some of them are kind of busty and naked. Nah.
Yeah,
nah.
Yeah, I've been looking through some past history of the Shin Megami Tensei, and boy, it creeped me out a bit, especially those Japanese-only titles on the SNES.
Well, yeah, and of course they'll have the obligatory Mara demon that they put in every Shin Megami Tensei game, which is basically it's a penis.
I was about to ask. They're going to include that giant penis monster.
Yeah, they put him in every single game. Like every Shin Megami Tensei game, he's in the game.
I was to say, I thought that
Is
was
it the reason why the Shin Megami Tensei games are always M-rated?
Not necessarily. It's just the demons normally, the female demons are busty and naked, and Shin Megami Tensei always deals with very like religion and drug abuse and sex and rape and murder.
They go into
They are very hardcore. They're very core.
Yeah.
They're very core. I mean, that's why I like Shin Megami Tensei, because it's very mature. It's a very mature RPG. It's fun saving the world as Chrono and fighting a puke monster with a baseball bat as Ness, but sometimes you want to go to the dark side and,
Nope, not me.
I'm one of the more powerful RPG players.
Yeah, sometimes you want to play an RPG that's why I'm loving Octopath Traveler, is that it's so dark and gritty. Like it deals with real stuff. Like the female character, she's actually has a dude who's taken everything away from her, and like he's threatening to rape her multiple times in the story. And there's hints that he's raped her before. I mean, it's some rough stuff.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, goddamn, I mean, I wish these people were making Final Fantasies instead of those tools they have now. because they know how to make complex characters without relying on. Look at those graphics. Look at his hair. Doesn't he look awesome? No.
Look at those zippers.
Yeah, look. This guy has a cajillion zippers.
We'll say they
Because
really
it
do
looks
look
I was
cool.
gonna say, who the beeps Kingdom Heart designs?
I'm just gonna let it go. But any other speculation before we move on to the big dog? Well, one of the big dogs, which is Metroid Prime 4.
No, I'm all out of speculation for Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah, so am
Okay,
I.
then. So we'll move on to Metroid Prime 4. All right, who wants to go first? What do you think Metroid Prime 4? Give your pitch for what you think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be.
So since the Metroid Prime games give us the ability to read scans of abandoned facilities, space pirate hideouts, and ancient textures, I wonder if they're going to include any information about Silex's backstory of why he hates Samus and the Federation, as hinted in Metroid Prime Hunters. And since he's going to be the main villain, as hinted in the cliffhanger for Metroid Prime 3 and Federation Force, I want to know why. I mean, will it be as deep as we expect, or will it be much more simplified and skimmed throughout?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Who wants to speculate next?
I got a few.
Go ahead.
So, I'm basically wondering how they're gonna handle the if they're gonna do the stupid stuff multiplayer shove-in or expand with other bounty hunters and so on.
That'd be cool.
I'm actually hoping that they might think of a new power to give Samus and inclusive for the Switch.
But what you first said sounded really cool. The idea, like you could take on group bounties.
I was talking about I was thinking that bounty hunters find out what happened to the other bounty hunters, or if you're gonna even see them again.
No, oh, you mean like where you have to go and I mean that'd be kind of interesting where you'd have to visit the planets. Well, I mean, except for Gore because he was the last of his kind. But that kind of sucks. I would hate to have to go to what's his name, that ice guy, and tell his family, yeah, he died. I'm sorry. Here's his remains. Keep him locked up in that vault because it's contaminated with phazon. So
Yeah, they want to contaminate that other planet.
it's not gonna be an open casket funeral. Don't open that casket.
Yeah, I can't have worms with that one.
That'd be a very interesting story mechanic. Okay, who has another? Kenoshi, you have a speculation for Metroid Prime 4?
I would agree. It's probably it's gonna be the last. Hopefully, it's the last story in the series. And it's gonna, hopefully it, hints to a Metroid Fusion sequel, so we know what happens after Fusion. So maybe it'll set it up, possibly. I don't know how it would do that, but we'll figure it out, I guess.
I think it depends on how they do it. I think if this game sells well enough, they're going to be like, okay, look, we're going to have to do a Metroid Prime 5. Although it would be cool if this game kind of ends the Metroid Prime and they just start a new Prime series.
To be honest, I was hoping it was that.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed that they had to use the number 4 in there. I mean,
because people love Metroid Prime.
I was like,
It's because franchises always end in a trilogy. It would feel odd if it ended with a 4 or a 5.
No, because that's not the reason they did it is because people people who claim to be Metroid fans but only played the first Metroid Prime, love Metroid Prime, only bought the first one, but are fans of the franchise, and so they really want another one, even though they skipped 2 and 3. And here's the thing, Metroid, you know how a lot of franchises, the first game is really good, but subsequent games kind of suck? Metroid Prime's the opposite. The first Metroid Prime is good, but Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is better, and Metroid Prime 3 Corruption is better than that. Like, it got better. They refined the series as it went along. But, nope. They only played the worst one in the franchise, and they're experts on Metroid, and they want a Metroid 4.
They will argue that the original is the best out of the 3 because 2 and 3 had their own problems.
Of course, they would argue that. They would be wrong, but they could argue it.
Like how 3 is too easy.
It's trying to argue with people about Metroid 4 when they only sucked the third one.
They only played the first one. They didn't play the second or the third one, which is kind of, that's kind of weird. It's like someone saying, Harry Potter, the fourth Harry Potter book is the best one. Okay, well, did you read 1, 2, and 3? No. Then you need to do me a favor and shut the fuck up.
And the only thing is that my 2D Metroids of the past, the only one I haven't played is number 2.
Metroid 2 Returns, Samus Returns.
Yeah, because I choose Metroid 1 in a sense.
All right.
And I played Metroid 3 Metroid for some people. And I played Metroid 4, which is a GBA game.
Yeah, I've played all of them. I played the 2D games. I played the 3D games. I played the weird spin-offs.
I never got into the 3D Metroids. That's the thing, and that's after playing number 1.
Yeah, I played the weird spin-offs. I played the weird spin-offs that people are like,
Even pinball.
Yeah, I played pinball. I played Hunters. Like I've played almost all of them. The only one I haven't played is I played all of them. Yeah. Played all of them. So believe me when I say that. I mean, I like all of them. Personally. Originally, I was like you guys. I like the 2D Metroids over the 3D Metroids, and then I played Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. And I was like, damn, I'm missing out. And then I went back and I played Metroid Prime 1 and 2. And I was like, these games are really good, but I could literally see where 3 was the best one. Because, I mean, it had, especially on the Wii with the motion controls, it had the best controls. It had the smoothest. It had the most variety in environments because you went to different planets instead of you're on the same planet. So it didn't feel like enemies weren't like, oh, this is just a slightly different skin of an enemy of the same enemy. This is the lava beetle thing because it's got a red shell and fires coming off of it. It was kind of that was kind of lame with Echoes and in the first game because it was like the enemy variety in the first game was lame because it was just slight differences. Oh, this is a fire pirate, man! Come on, who are you fooling with that? And then Echoes got a little bit cooler because you had dark troopers and dark pirates and stuff who'd been infected by the Ing, so it kind of was different enough, but it still wasn't like.
And don't forget the light and dark armor for trouble that you run into later.
Yeah, people got mad because they didn't like the armor thing, but that kind of added urgency to when you had to move. So when you finally did get the other armor, the light armor that lets you go anywhere, you felt like, yes, I can finally explore everywhere, which you needed to in order to find all those damn keys. All those damn keys, damn it. And then they got it down perfectly with.
I just realized one of the big complaints that everybody has with Metroid. First to the modern, as far as I know, and you said it best yourself: backtracking.
Yeah, but that's here's the thing: backtracking when it's done extraneously, like in Echoes, in order for you to get to the final area, you have to collect 12 keys. You had to do the same thing in the first Metroid. In order for you to open up the gate and fight
the Emperor Ing.
Metroid Prime.
Oh yeah.
The Phazon mutated Metroid Prime. You had to basically you had to collect all these damn keys, and it's like, God, really, for real though. And, yeah, they fixed that with corruption. Like the backtracking was less obtrusive. If you really knew what you were doing, you could find a lot of stuff early on. When you did backtrack, you didn't feel like, man, this is a chore. It was like, okay, I've got new stuff. I can open up new routes. I can go new places. Backtracking in the first game was like, okay, there's literally no reason for me to come back here except for this one thing. And I'm fighting the same enemies. Just a few have been upgraded. Come on, man. It was,
and yet there are complaints about corruption being too linear compared to the first two Prime games.
Well, you can't win. They complain that it's too linear. Some people complained, but then again, like the first game, you're stuck on one planet. The environments have changed, but it's like the enemies in those environments are only slight variations of things you've already seen, and you can tell. It's like, okay, that's supposed to be one of those beetle enemies, but they just changed it slightly, but it's the same architecture. At least with Echoes, you had different types of enemies. Like very rarely in the light world would you see the same type of enemies in the dark world. And if you did, the dark version was like weirder and looked different.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with that. I don't know. People are still gonna bitch and complain about it. It doesn't matter.
So, Triple M, do you have anything else to speculate
about Metroid Prime?
I'm usually not into the whole speculation thing, but you guys pretty much said everything what I wanted to say.
This is shameless speculation. You're allowed to shamelessly speculate about it. That's the whole point. We're shamelessly speculating. But if we got all of it, then I guess I'll go with my shameless speculation. It's going to be pretty
there is one more. There is one more speculation I want to talk about. Is how when you face Silex in a boss battle, I wonder how he'll fight and what his moves will be, just so that they plot for the next Smash Bros. Game. Since so many Metroid fans are wanting a new Metroid character that's not a different variation of Samus.
Okay, why don't they, instead of him, why don't they have Adam Malkovich?
Or one of the
because everyone hates
Federation Force. Oh wait.
Or maybe they could have one of the Marines from Federation Force. Yeah, I
was about to go with.
That'd be cooler to me than a Silex. Because we have enough villains in Super Smash Brothers. We don't need another villain.
But that's the reason why because they said they want more villains because they only have Bowser Jr. and Ganondorf, and they need more villain reps since we already have enough female reps.
No, there's more villains than that. There's Bowser, Ganon, Bowser Jr. Although Bowser Jr. isn't really a villain, he's just a little asshole, but not really a villain.
They removed Wolf.
Star Wolf, yeah. They removed Star Wolf, who is a straight up villain. But then you've got King Dedede. He's kind of a villain.
They don't count him as a villain.
Not a particularly evil villain, but he's a villain. I mean, he ate up all the food in Dreamland. Come on, man. People are starving.
I was going to say, Dedede and Meta Knight are
what did you say about Meta Knight?
Dedede and Meta Knight are mixed.
Yeah, Meta Knight's kind of a villain. Isn't he the one who has that awesome airship that he was going to use to take over Dreamland and force the lazy citizens of Dreamland in order to get their shit together? That's kind of villainous. I mean, look, he's got a mask and a cape and an airship that he uses to blow up shit. I mean, that's pretty badass. That's pretty villainous. That's pretty villainous. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of who else we got for villain lists.
Well, Dark Pit. They don't count Dark Pit and Mewtwo either because they don't consider them as
Mewtwo's a villain. Mewtwo killed people. Mewtwo totally killed people.
But there's no such thing as an evil Pokemon.
Mewtwo killed people. He killed people.
Hundreds.
I mean, sure, they were researchers who were playing with God and created an imperfect clone of supposedly one of the first Pokemon, Mew, but hey, he killed those people. They're dead. They didn't faint. He killed them.
Yeah.
You got that, but that's only in the anime, and the anime is not canon.
No, in the game, that mansion that got blown the fuck up where Mewtwo was created. You think all those researchers? Yeah, some of them got out, but some of those people are dead, man. They're dead. Even inadvertently, his escape caused their destruction, but that's still killing people.
Dang it, you can clearly see the mansion itself is basically in ruin.
Yeah, Mewtwo killed people. Yeah, Mewtwo's totally a villain. He's totally
Straight up murder.
I'd say that it's a mixed bag on Mewtwo because to save himself, but in order to do that, he had to kill.
Yeah, he killed people. He totally killed people. He could have been like Mew. You know how hard it is to catch a wild Mew? You can't. You gotta use a cheat to kill him. those other legendary Pokemon, they'll run away, they'll hide. Mewtwo's like, oh really? I ain't running away and hide. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. And he can tell. He can talk. He can talk, so he can tell you you're dead.
You ever think that we could list in a sense would be Wario?
And Wario's a villain. But Wario, look, the fact that he farts on people, that's villainous enough. That's evil. That evil fat rat bastard.
They don't consider Wario as an evil villain either.
He steals people's shit.
He started out as
people. Come on, man.
I've been following the Smash Brothers fan base for a long time now, and I will tell you, they only consider Bowser Jr., and Ganondorf the only true villains in the roster.
Well, then I'm going to say something that's going to go out. This is live. To hell with the Smash Brothers fan base. And before anyone says, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Smash Brothers on the N64, Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube. I played so much Melee that I broke the timer. It doesn't. It's maxed out. It's maxed out. I played so many hours on that damn game. Brawl. I fucking love that game. I still love that game. Smash Brothers 4. I have it both on the 3DS and the Wii U. Now I'm gonna keep it real. Smash Brothers 4 is like the worst one in the series, in my opinion. I mean, the multiplayer is solid, the gameplay is solid, the balance is relatively good, but my God, the single player is shit.
I wouldn't use that word because
okay, fine, then it's not shit. It's not very good.
It's something is severely missing.
Let me put it this way. Normally, you're supposed to move forward in a game, not backwards. But Smash Bros. 4 single player is a step backwards instead of a step forward. And no, that board game that you can play is, come on, Sakurai, you trolling bastard.
Have you seen Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Story Mode? It makes you glad that they didn't bring back the Subspace Emissary because the story is horrible. Because
Subspace Emissary was fun. The story was easy to follow, and it still was kind of fun. It was basically Subspace Emissary was basically a more sophisticated version of
Kingdom Hearts.
No. It was a more sophisticated version of Kirby Superstar. It was a more sophisticated version of Kirby Superstar's Galaxy Dreams. Like basically you went from place to place recruiting characters to join your quest, and like how you recruited characters, little things, how they felt, they actually stayed true to their characters, and it was fun. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect. I mean, you were basically using the Smash Brothers engine as a platformer, but it was still a fun, enjoyable game, and you could still do what you needed to do in order to play it. Then you got Smash 4, which has practically a non-existent story mode. The adventure mode doesn't really exist. You have that Smash. It's not Smash Run on the Wii U. It's like Smash. It's like a board game where you land on spaces and you fight. And if you don't fight, man, fuck that. No, no. It's no.
Yeah.
No. Just no. No, my speculation is very simple with Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, I do remember there was one. Sorry about this, Red, but there's one thing I can add on. At least in the gameplay department. Now, everyone remember what they did with Samus in Metroid Zero Mission. I was wondering if they're actually going to implement some sort of
Zero Suit?
Yeah, a zero suit type of gameplay in there.
Well, I'm going to take your suggestion and run with it because I have an idea that deals with that perfectly.
Oh!
What's the one thing we've never seen Samus do, even though they say she's a bounty hunter?
What, crawl?
She fights her power suit.
No, actually accept bounties. We've never seen her actually accept bounties. We've heard she's been commissioned. We've never actually seen her accept bounties. Wouldn't it be cool if they made a Metroid Prime that gave you the size of, say, Hyrule?
And have actually
better
involved.
Was bigger than Hyrule in
Breath of the Wild.
In Breath of the Wild. What if it was bigger than Hyrule? Bigger than all that? Like, you had multiple places. She went to multiple planets, and there were cities on that planet, and she actually went and did bounties. Now, of course, she wouldn't get money. She would get, hey, she got a missile expansion. She got a missile expansion. She got an E-tank. Not an E-tank. What do they call energy capsules that increase your health? Stuff like that. Like, wouldn't that be, or hey, she's got to upgrade her gunship. So they're like, okay, I need you to clear out this infestation of these dudes who live in this canyon over here. So she flies over there, she takes a bounty, she brings the ship back, gets upgraded, gets better missiles or something. I don't know. Like, we could actually finally for once see Samus take bounties. You would have her scanning to figure out enemies, the weakness of enemies and stuff like that. She could actually, maybe when she's in the city, she can't wear a power suit because it is a weapon. They don't want people going around armed in a populated area.
What you're describing sounds similar to how Federation Force plays, where they give you missions.
Yeah, I'm going to let Nintendo do what they did with the Switch, which is basically the Wii U's next successor with a name change. So I'm going to give them Federation Force, except they can play Samus. And they can actually, like, Samus, because here's the thing, but here's the difference. Samus without her suit, her vital stats is like, without her suit, just by herself, she's like 6 feet tall. She's a very tall woman. With the suit, it's like 6'6", 6 foot 6. It's like that. Oh God, she's tall with the suit. So without her suit, she's in her zero suit. Maybe let her have her little stun thing like she has in Smash Brothers when she's Zero Suit Samus. That she can use maybe like
even in Zero Mission.
Yeah, maybe in Zero Mission where maybe she can like use her little stun gun thing to like
and those power
solve simple puzzles and stuff like that. Well, she doesn't really have the power boots in Zero Mission.
No,
Zero Mission. She's just got she got to do that shit on her own. Power boots were added in Smash Brothers to give her mobility, but I'm saying maybe that's an upgrade she can get for her Zero Suit later on, where she can get like some boost boots that let her do like a double jump or something. Maybe initially when maybe you can have a part where her suit gets locked down and she's thrown in jail for some bullshit or whatever, and she's got to escape. And like that could be a nice little thing. Maybe that's how you could explain, because Samus always loses her powers in the beginning of the story. Except in Other M, she didn't want to use them because she wasn't ordered to.
And what if you unlock Samus's bikini after passing the game, so you can play those Zero Suit missions in that bikini?
I guess. Like maybe you can have challenge things where she can't use her power suit and she has to get out of sticky situations using her Zero Suit. But if she completes these tough missions, these tough little trials, she can wear her bikini because people apparently really want to see Samus in a bikini. I have no
Oh my
idea why,
gosh.
but I mean, here's the thing. In the original game, she had a bikini, but it was like
Yeah.
a unitard. It wasn't like this two thing. It wasn't actually really sexy at all. I don't know why people think, oh my God, Samus. Not to mention, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's my speculation of Metroid Prime 4. There you go, folks. That's it. Let's move on to Zelda because that's the next one. The Legend of Zelda, we know they're going to make another one. They said it's going to use a similar open world style as Breath of the Wild. So we have that much information. Go. Who wants to go first?
Let's see.
You know, so go ahead, Pinky.
Okay. I was thinking, are they going to implement Linkle in the game? I mean, I know that Adrian Numa mentioned that they're considering adding Linkle in a mainline Zelda game after her appearance in Hyrule Warriors Legends. So the more I think about it, the more I'm hopeful that they won't add her, because you know how in Breath of the Wild you can change outfits, and you know those playthroughs of how players would like to do playthroughs of playing as Link in his underwear. I don't want the same thing to happen with Linkle, since she's, you know, technically a minor.
Enough said, right?
Yeah. I'm telling, even if Nintendo is willing to have players play as Linkle, they're probably not going to go as far as what they've done with Link in Breath of the Wild.
No, what they might do if they actually do a Linkle is that what they might do is they might have a multiplayer component where you can essentially like maybe like a multiplayer component where there's a separate region where like you can like various multiplayer characters you've unlocked are playable. So like maybe like there's a Goron, there's a Zora, there's Linkle, there's a Gerudo person, a Gerudo chick. Like maybe there's one of those ninjas from the Sheikah. Like maybe that'd be something, and like they'd each have their own little equipment sets and special abilities. But I mean, would that actually like? I mean, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I personally don't really care about Linkle either way. Like, if they added her in the actual game, I wouldn't care either way. But I mean, how many diehard Legend of Zelda fans would be like, I ain't playing no girl. I want to play Linkle. The hell with Linkle. I want to play Link.
Yeah.
You mean even the ladies?
Playing it every second.
I'm sure the hardcore Zelda fans will rather play as Zelda herself rather than Linkle.
Well, considering that a lot of Zelda fans originally thought The Legend of Zelda, Link was Zelda. So, I mean, hell,
yeah.
It's called The Legend of Zelda. Bitch, please. I'm the hero of this story. It's called The Link to the Past. So your big thing is Linkle would be a playable character, Pinky.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. That's your speculation. Who has another speculation?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they would actually take the Majora's Mask route, with the whole actually make the side stories have more important than the overarching story.
Kind of like they did Breath of the Wild.
Let's just say much more not as loose, much more refined than in Breath of the Wild.
Okay, fair enough. So you'd have a massive open world where the side stories are just as important as the main story. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's fairly.
But you know, there was that specific side story of Cafe where you actually or in some cases you could have actually played as Cafe, the boy that's supposed to be a man, that's supposed to get married, but then Skull Kid basically transformed into a boy.
See, that's how much you know the Skull Kid is a dick. This poor guy, the world is gonna end in 3 days. He just wants to get married to his sweetheart and do what young, just married people do. And he couldn't even get that because that little pranking little
That little
bastard
prick destroyed everything.
He turned him into a kid on his wedding. Like I mean, that's a dick move.
It wasn't Skull Kid's fault. He was being possessed by Majora's Mask.
Yeah, but the Majora's Mask only enhances the dark tendencies of its wearer. So he already had these dark tendencies. Majora's Mask just made them worse. He was already a dick. That's why that's one of the reasons why the Giants had to be around him all the time, because they controlled his prankish nature. And he's the thing. Skull Kid's, like, in almost all the Legend of Zelda games where Skull Kid has been, he's a kind of a dick. That's just his thing. He's kind of an asshole. But the Majora's Mask made it worse because, you know, hey, the moon's gonna crash into the world. You asshole. He cursed that poor forest hero whose face you have to take, so that he could turn you into you know, a Deku scrub. That bastard.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that kid. And this all begins because he steals your horse because he's a little dick. he's like, really. I'm like, I wouldn't have been upset had Link killed him. Not really. If he was and he definitely would have killed him had he been wearing that Fierce Deity mask, because the Fierce Deity did not play.
He don't give a.
Don't forget, the Fierce Deity kicked Majora's Mask in the first place.
The side quest for the other mask, that is.
Yeah, the Fierce Deity was like, look, I ain't playing these games.
Playtime's over, Junior.
You think this shit is funny? You think this shit is funny? I'll show you funny, bitch.
So, anything I could make the joke from Fierce Deity to the quote-unquote of Legend of Zelda. And anybody that plays Twilight Princess this armor.
Yeah, to me, but that's neither here nor there. So basically, you would like to see Triple M. You would like to see a more maybe like a side story to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, a much more refined one. And what that cafe story that was actually adding Pinky's idea of the whole. This was yours, Red. The whole multiplayer aspect of it.
Yeah, that you could add multiplayer to it. But you know what was also a really deep story in Majora's Mask? Not to go off on a tangent. The story of the Zora's eggs that got stolen.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
That's good.
Where it turns out that they were that guy's. They were the fish guy. The reason she couldn't sing because they were her eggs, and that the fish guy was the father of her children. That was some fucked up shit. The Sea Gerudos did. That was. I did not feel bad about messing up their parade, and all because of that damn Skull Kid. I'm telling you, that Skull Kid.
That little brat needs
that little son of a bitch. He needed his ass beat.
I remember about that story. Like even the conclusion of that side quest was like, gotta do this freaking side quest to get this freaking eggs, and then I gotta take these eggs back to her so she can start singing again. It turns out, well, there's a lot more to that story.
Yeah, and how that guy dies when you meet him. It's kind of like, it starts out kind of funny, like tragic funny, like how he dies, like, ow! He's playing his guitar, but it's like, this is a father trying to save his babies.
A recent father, which is
he's trying to save his babies, his unborn babies, because they're still eggs. His unborn babies. His girlfriend / wife is in deep sorrow. I mean, this is dark. I mean, Majora's Mask is a really dark game.
Messed up stuff.
It's dark. It's dark. I mean, almost every single story is dark, except for maybe the Gorons. But Nintendo, please add some female Gorons, because the idea of just dudes made out of rock.
But didn't they have a Goron at Gerudo's village in Breath of the Wild?
They had a Goron village, and they had a Gerudo village.
Yeah, but they had a Goron present.
Well, yeah, because supposedly Gorons don't have genders, which I'm like, I'd be cool with that, except Gorons since Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword. Well, did Skyward Sword have Gorons? No.
Yeah, they had one Goron.
They have.
Okay, fine then, yeah. But I mean, the Gorons have been wearing like clothes. I'm just saying, look, Nintendo,
Yeah,
just make female Gorons. Just do us all a favor, make a female Goron, and then we can all be cool. Because the idea of just male Gorons, it's too much. Just come on, just
Hey, kind of like Yoshi.
I was gonna say,
yeah. That's too far. That's a bridge too far. Just make a female Goron.
for me, I actually would want to look into like, if this is supposed to take place after world, I mean the sky chapter of Legend of Zelda, isn't there any land left that hasn't been explored or that might be a great way to expand and might even introduce the bird people more and give an interesting twist.
Well, I mean, that's the awesome thing about Legend of Zelda. Hyrule is just one country. Like, it's not the entire world. It's just this one country. There are other places aside from Hyrule, but they're alluded to in other Legend of Zelda games. But you don't except for maybe
visit them.
Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, where you go to these other countries.
Also, Triforce. Oh crap! Legend of Zelda Triforce.
Triforce Heroes.
Yes, Triforce Heroes. Was not actually in Hyrule.
Yeah, like I mean, in the side stories they go to these other places, but I mean, you're right. That would be cool to see a main Legend of Zelda game where. Because, I mean, look, I don't know. Like, don't people of Hyrule get tired of every 20, 30 years? Some asshole just destroys their country and then they got to rebuild. I mean, yeah.
Every 30 years? I think it's longer than that.
Okay, fine. Every
generation.
Yeah, every generation or so, some redhead asshole who's balding destroys their country. They have to get saved and then they got to rebuild. I mean, let these people have some happiness for a game or two and take it someplace else. That's all I'm saying.
Someone have happiness for a game or two, but I think
let them not have their country get destroyed. Can we please just let somebody else have to deal with the destruction for once and not Hyrule? Can we?
For once, you mean a bit more. Because there've been
almost every mainline game, it's Hyrule getting just destroyed. Like we never get to see Hyrule prosperous, or if we do, it's it's prosperous, but there's some shit on the horizon.
Prosperous in the backstory, or was never in game.
Yeah, it was prosperous. In Link to the Past, my favorite Legend of Zelda of all time. The game starts and Aghanim has banished the king, banished the seven maidens.
Banished? I thought he just murdered.
Well, I mean, it's never. They say he got rid of the king, but you don't know if he killed him or not. Now, in the manga, he killed the king. In the booklet, it's never elaborated on, so we don't know. Like, it could be murder. He could just. I mean, Aghanim is a wizard. He does make people disappear, so we don't know. But I mean, he's cast a spell on the soldiers, turning them evil. Like, I mean, it's already kind of a shithole. And then he's got like people out trying to kill you. You need to find this guy who wears a green tunic and has pointy ears. Kill him. He kidnapped the princess. Get him.
His bloodline.
Get him. He's evil. Then it turns out Aghanim is just a pawn for the real mastermind, Ganon.
Of course, it's Ganondorf.
Yeah. Like, people got mad at Twilight Princess and like, they just slipped in Ganon. They just slipped in Ganon and Link to the Past, bitch. But we didn't complain. We enjoyed it.
I was going to say.
I think people did complain about Ganon's appearance in Twilight Princess because they were expecting Zant to be the new main villain.
No, Zant, like, as
Zant
soon
was
as I
always
saw,
a pawn.
yeah, as soon as I saw
if
Zant, I'm like, there's no way Zant would have this type of power unless he was. And when he was talking about my god and my new god, I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
that was a dead giveaway.
When we saw Ganon get locked into the Twilight Dimension, I was like, yeah, Ganon's doing an old playbook. Use a pawn to do all the dirty work and then reap the rewards.
I was going to say, this reminds me of Wily from Mega Man and how he usually is behind the whole mess.
Well, yeah, he did that thing in Mega Man 4 where, like, it was Dr. Cossack, but, like, Dr. Cossack was the villain, but in that weird robot named Atlas was the villain, but it turned out that, no, was Atlas or Ajax? I can't remember, but it turned out that it turned out that Dr. Cossack was really Dr. Wily in disguise, and he had set everything up, and he was actually the villain because Dr. Wily's always the villain.
He's always the.
He's always the villain.
He even unleashed a virus.
Yep, he unleashed he unleashed the Maverick virus, which basically caused the Mavericks to go mad. And in Zero, Dr. Wile, it's Dr. Wily. It's Dr. Wily. Yeah, Dr. Wile is Dr. Wily. So yes, Dr. Wily is always the villain. He's always the only Mega Man game where Dr. Wily wasn't the villain like series was in Star Force. That's it. That's the only Mega Man game.
What about Legends? He wasn't involved in anything in Legends either.
Yeah, okay, Legends and Star Force. But aside from that, it was Dr. Wily, which I'm okay with because he's such an iconic villain. But that's neither here nor there. Anyone else have a Kenoshi? Give your Legend of Zelda. Thing.
So what are we talking about now?
Legend of Zelda speculation. Yeah, Legend of Zelda speculation.
Yeah, I think they're gonna probably because the Breath of the Wild formula, it really people are really captivated by it. So we might do variations on that for a while until until it gets stale, and then they do something else. So I think we'll see another variation of Breath of the Wild. Maybe scaled back a little bit because that game was expensive. I don't think Nintendo really liked spending that money on a game. I'm sure they made their money back, plus some.
Oh yes, they sure made their money back.
No, they definitely made their money back. They said that game had to sell at least
2 million, at least 2 million,
and it's already sold over that. It sold at least 1.6 on the Wii U, and then everything above that, like that was like people were buying that almost 1 for 1 for the Switch. The Switch is well over 6 million at this point. So, I mean, yeah, they definitely. That game is probably at like 3 or 4 million at this point, so they definitely made their money back and profit, and that's not counting that shitty DLC, season pass they had. So I guess it's my turn. Seeing the formula that they're doing, this is just my speculation. I don't know if it'll happen. Probably won't, but I'm going to go with it because we're all dreamers here. I would like for them to use the open world formula from Breath of the Wild, but to meld it with the traditional formats of Legend of Zelda. So instead of like 120 shrines, like they did in Breath of the Wild, I would like for them to maybe have multiple dungeons, maybe like a grand central dungeon in each area that's themed to that area. And then like smaller ones that are like more, they're still dungeons, it's still puzzles to solve, but like you still find stuff in them. I like the whole, Link being able to wield different types of weapons, but I was not a fan of weapons breaking in the middle of fights.
I actually, as long as you're at least able to get something after having it break.
Well, I mean, I just wasn't a fan of that. Like, but then again, I never, in my opinion, I never thought combat was the most important part of a Legend of Zelda game. Like for me, puzzle solving and figuring out how to traverse the areas is what's cool to me. Which is why I would really like the return of traditional dungeons where you find, like, wouldn't it be cool if they gave you awesome things like the double claw shots and the spinning top thing, but you could also use them in a variety of ways to traverse the environment. And they did this in Breath of the Wild. There were many different ways to traverse the environment, to get from point A to point B, to get into an area. There wasn't just one way. So I thought if they gave that expertise to a more traditional structure of how they give you items and stuff like that. Bring back fishing, please. Fishing with a pole.
Behold the fisherman.
Yeah,
Fishing. You've got HD Rumble. You didn't use it for fishing. What the fudge?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was gonna say, and no, we're not going big the catfishing.
No,
normal fishing.
Like, I mean, if they just did fishing like Twilight Princess, maybe instead of just one fishing area, you've got like 3 for each region. So like, or maybe 4. Yeah, you have like one that's in like more traditional fishing, like near Zora's Domain. If it's in Hyrule, or where people who live near the sea live, like traditional fishing. Then you like near the lava area, you can fish in lava, and you like these are dangerous creatures in the lava that you're fishing. Like if you fish the wrong thing, you might get a hidden boss or something. Maybe fishing in the air, like cloud fishing, where like Link is fishing, in clouds and stuff. And maybe you could even fish in dungeons. That would be cool. I'm low on health, and you can't really get hearts from cutting down stuff and breaking pots. Oh well, I think I'll
something to eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch this fish and cook it and eat it right here. The eating system, the cooking system, keep that. That was awesome. But bring back some more tradition to it. That'd be cool. The whole item thing. Bring back tools and magic. Stamina got on my nerves a little bit, but if you bring back magic where certain weapons, you can keep stamina, but don't make it like the end-all be-all. Like, stamina should only be useful if you're using special attacks. That's when it's used up, is if you're using special attacks. Like if you're using, well, special attacks. Like, okay, when I say special, I mean like, okay, yeah, your spin attack, or like you're using like a mega bash with the hammer. Or like if you're using something that requires a lot of effort, if you're just like slashing someone, I mean, this dude's a trained warrior, supposedly. Like, that's, come on, man. Let's see what else. Speculation wise, yeah, and set it someplace other than Hyrule. Let these people have a break, rebuild their country. Art style wise, I don't really care, because I mean it's gonna look gorgeous either way. Although sadly, I'm kind of a fan of. I like the Twilight Princess style a little bit more, just like in terms of art style. But I can understand why you wouldn't go with that because it doesn't age that well over time. And the cel-shaded look, the simple watercolor cel-shaded look of Breath of the Wild looks very anime-ish, and it looks really good. But I don't really care what art style you use. Hell, you could even go back to completely cartoon cel-shaded like Wind Waker. I still roll with it.
Or even the original Zelda, the original short stack Link from the first game.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, bring back short stack Link, or even pink hair Link from Link to the Past. Yeah. or you know what you could do? Make your skills, instead of making weapons break and stuff like that, make the skills that you earn feel valuable, because in a way in that earning them requires an endeavor. Like earning an upgraded spin attack means you actually have to go and fight various sword masters, kind of like how you had to do in Minish Cap. You know, like if you bring back magic, make it so that like if you want to make it so that your magic spells cost less per cast, make it so that you actually have to go to a magic school and complete like side missions and stuff. And as your rank goes up, you get the ingredients to do a spell, and you like summon a demon. I mean, this is not the first time you've had demons in Legend of Zelda. You summon that weird demon from the other Legend of Zelda games who curses you who says, yeah, I just made it so that your magic costs double, but really he halves the cost of it. That'd be cool. He's like, yeah, now I'm going to curse you. That's okay, right? Like, you're not going to be inconvenienced by this curse. Okay, good. Here, look at all that stuff you have to carry. I just cut your magic in half. It's like, no, you just made it so that my spells cost half of what they used to. Thanks a lot, you jerk. He's a really nice guy, though. But yeah, bring back some more tradition, more traditional structured. And please, for the love of God, some real dungeons, and a lot of them not like mini dungeons, like real, like actual, like, okay, I'm going in here, I've got, I've got to fight the dongos and get a bomb bag. And not exactly, but in order to add depth to it, you could make it so that you don't just get the upgrade for a bigger bomb bag by completing mini games. You might get bits and pieces of it, but you've got to craft it yourself. So you get bits and pieces of what you need to upgrade it from different places. Like if you want to get this ingredient, you got to complete this game. So then there's more work put into it. There's more stuff you got to do. But that's it. That's my only speculation. Our last thing that we have is, what game franchise could Nintendo bring back and put on the Switch that would make you go nuts? Everyone choose one. Tell us what it is.
I'm thinking Punch-Out.
Punch-Out on the Switch.
I'm thinking
Ice Climber. Punch-Out on the Switch.
Well,
it's called ARMS. I'm not harshing your mellow. Yeah, I can see that. With Little Mac. That'd be cool.
With the technology of the Joy-Cons, his punches would be much more accurate.
Yeah.
And they'll probably try to tweak the Punch-Out formula to make the Joy-Cons work. However, the only problem I see of a new Punch-Out game is that of today's culture, the PC culture, is why
you mean the racist stereotypes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's nothing PC about it. It's just those were really racist stereotypes back in the 80s.
Say, they represent their races and their cultures.
Yeah,
it hits quite hard on the nose at times.
No, here's what I'll say. It was kind of racist in the 80s, and when they did the remake of Punch-Out on the Wii, it wasn't as bad because it's like it wasn't mean-spirited or culturally oblivious, and they knew it was like tongue-in-cheek. But on the original, in the one in the 80s, it was like Soda Popinski was called Vodka Dronsky. He was a drunk. I mean,
that was good. That was censored, by the way.
Yeah, no, they changed it on the home version, but in the arcade version, he was called Vodka Dronsky. Like he was drinking vodka. He was getting alcohol. He was a drunkard. They played the characters up to comedic effects in the redo. So, if they still played those things with new boxers, with new ethnicities and new boxers for comedic effect versus kind of like being culturally insensitive, it could work. But I mean, if they just did it like they did back in the day, I wouldn't buy that game because did you see how they played some of the black characters in that shit? It was ridiculous.
It's just that in today's culture, everyone's way too sensitive to the point that they'll consider any slight stereotype for a comedic effect as offensive.
Not really. I mean, if the joke is
following the joke.
If the joke is funny, typically people will go with it. If the joke you're trying to say falls flat, people are more harsh because your joke didn't land right.
I was gonna
humor
is a subjective topic, and if you're not careful with your punchline, you're gonna get punched.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Okay, rape is not funny, typically speaking. The idea of raping someone is not funny. But if you tell a joke with a good punchline that has rape in it, and the punchline is tight enough, people won't get offended because they get the whole idea is that it's humor. It's meant to be ironic. For example, wouldn't it be hilarious if, raping someone is not funny, but wouldn't it be hilarious if people who were convicted rapists got raped by a donkey?
I get it.
Wow, that's what I call payback.
The joke fell a little flat, but it's ironic that a rapist is getting raped by a donkey. See, it's the humor works because it's
it's a bit flat because it sounds
humor subjective.
It sounds like a speciality joke.
Well, I mean, never mind. If you have to explain the joke, then if you have to explain the joke, that didn't work.
It's not funny.
That's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that if the joke works, the joke works. For example, look at anything from Chris Rock back in the day.
I'd recommend, but beware that some of those jokes will go real deep.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know what, Jewel, right there.
The difference between black people and other people of color, it's hilarious.
Well, hold on, before you go any further, right? I would say, Jewel Rider, the sentence you just brought up, that was already a joke in itself.
Yeah, they do go deep. Yeah, they do go deep.
I times in a sense, knowing that if somebody mentions him, it's gonna if I say it just right.
So we're gonna leave it at that. But I mean, like, it's not so much. It's like, if the joke is funny, it's kind of like what's the bet? Oh, okay, Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder has Robert Downey Jr. in blackface.
Oh, snap.
Okay, now to someone who's like, I'm offended, but I'm a black person, and I'm proudly black. Everyone in my family's proudly black. We're really black.
Amen.
Like, we're proud of the people in our family who served as Buffalo Soldiers, who were in the first colored regiment of African American soldiers who helped cause Jefferson to not Jefferson. Forgot the guy's name. But basically, one of the main generals of the Confederacy to quit, to finally surrender. Proud of that lineage. But even I was watching him as Kurt Lazarus. Hey man, hey, why are you trying to keep us down? No, it wasn't Lincoln. It was the guy who was on the Confederate side. Who was their main Confederate general.
Oh yeah, I know. I forgot his name. I forgot his name too.
Yeah. And I live in Virginia, and they have his name on fucking everything, and everyone claims they're related to him. But anyway, but my point is that when he's going, hey man, hey, you always trying to keep us down, and the black guy's like, us? You're not black. He's like, hey man, never go full retard. It's like, why are you talking like this? Hey man, I'm always in character. That's just hilarious. That's funny as hell. And here's the thing. It didn't bother me that it was a guy in blackface because the joke landed. And I got what the joke was supposed to be about. The joke wasn't that he was in blackface. The joke that he was parodying these people, these actors who go so into character that it's ridiculous. Like, it's preposterous. Like Daniel, the guy who played Lincoln, Daniel. Daniel
This
Lewis.
will happen when we go off topic, ladies and gentlemen.
Daniel. Shit. I forget. He won the award for playing the last of the Mohicans. Daniel. Shit. Now I have to look up his name because it's in my head. I know who he is.
It's on the tip of your tongue, but you can't find it, right?
No. Damn.
Take a deep breath, and we'll try to get to it.
Well, looking at the
Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis. Right?
Oh.
Daniel Day-Lewis played this role where he played this actor, this Irish guy who was paralyzed, and the only thing he could move was his left foot, right? And he played the guy, so he basically like pretended like he was paralyzed and would only use his left foot. People had to feed him in his chair. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's awesome that someone that committed to the role. But that's ridiculous. Well, he's parodying that by taking it to the next level because he's playing a black guy. He's playing a black guy, and he's really committing to the role, like really committing.
Dang.
So that he's blacked his face, and he's got the wig on and everything, and he's just, I mean, that's hilarious. But yes, if Nintendo were to do a new one and they played it like that, that would be awesome. Would they? I don't know. It'd be awesome.
Any other game franchises you guys you wish Nintendo could bring back for the Switch?
Yes, anything.
Thank you, Pinky Don. I got one, though. I'm not sure how long it's been.
No, go ahead.
And this actually might, if we actually get it right. Gauntlet.
Well, they did bring back Gauntlet, but it was terrible. Like Gauntlet Legends or
Any of the Gauntlet series.
Yeah, I'd go through that. I'd buy it.
Though I was gonna say Gauntlet that you want. Though I have a feeling that you have a Gauntlet you don't want.
Well, it's not so much that, it's that the people who hold Gauntlet right now is Warner Brothers. Yeah.
I was about to say Warner Brothers. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, it's Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers.
I thought
it was so
Activision got a hold of it.
I thought we're talking about just video game franchises from Nintendo, not other third-party franchises.
No, you can. No, I wanted people to go just from Nintendo, but she did Gauntlet, and the best Gauntlet game I ever played was on a Nintendo system. She can.
That's funny because that's one of my memories.
Yeah.
Though, if anything, that's the thing that most, because I actually have an idea of Gauntlet. I could talk to you guys fast about that.
All right.
But it's at least some.
We could do that. We could do that off the air. Who's next?
Hey, they brought back Mario RPG Legend of 7 Stars. Actual sequel to that game.
So you want a real sequel to Super Mario RPG?
Yeah.
Well, what I want to say, what I want to tell you right now, I can't, because it uses an offensive word, but I'll say my main man. What I want to say is something that Denzel Washington said to Ethan Hawke in Training Day, but I won't. My main man. That's cool. I would love to see that. I would love to see another Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's as likely to happen as somebody getting the lottery 5 times in a row.
Well, I'm going to keep it real. As desperate as Square Enix has been getting, I can see that happening more. I can see that happening sooner.
Yeah, you know what? After what Ubisoft came out with Mario plus Rabbids, if Square Enix is not as dumb as I hope, that they are, they better catch on this.
As desperate as they are for money, I could totally see them doing a Super Mario RPG 2. Except,
will they
like,
bring back Peanut?
I would want them, because they hold the rights. They hold the rights to those other characters. So, I mean, you know, and a lot of those people who worked on that game worked at Monolith Soft, and their new game is about to come out like later on this year. So you can get some of those people to come work on that game because they worked on the original. They know what needs to be done, and you could totally get that game made. That could work.
And plus, if this actually going to happen, or could happen, Square Enix doesn't have to do anything or lift a dime. Lift a dime for anything, and just reap the rewards or royalty rewards.
Well, they got it would be a split, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, thanks for correcting me.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, so yeah, I would love that game. That'd be awesome because we'd get Malo and Gino and Booster. Booster, the best non-villain ever.
I'll take a chance, and there might be a chance that Square might give Gino a chance to be added in Smash as an actual character rather than just a Mii costume.
You know what? I'm gonna say this right now. I would rather see Chrono before I saw Gino in Smash Brothers. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so we went with Jewel, we went with Kenoshi, we went with Pinky. You want another Punch Out? Kenoshi said Super Mario RPG 2, like a real true sequel to Super Mario RPG. I would love that. Jewel said Gauntlet. And Triple M, you're the second to last. I'll go last.
Oh, you guys didn't hear me? Sorry. Pinky Don was actually louder than me at the time. But yeah, actually, I said Ice Climbers.
Ice Climbers? Really?
Yep.
Would it keep the same gameplay or be something different?
You know what? I would say they can keep it, but maybe add something on top of it. Like
How to controls?
To be honest, I
More
wouldn't
like
mind.
attacks.
No, I wouldn't mind if they keep the controls and even the oh crap, what was it again?
The music?
No,
The platforms?
not the platforms. Oh crap! Yeah, the way the characters move.
That's like that song from Puff Daddy. I mean, from Outkast. I like the way you move. the way you move. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now they can use the original game as the original level of the game as treated as a bonus level.
Mm-hmm.
But the entirety of the level, they could have just let them climb on an actual mountain. Well, more like you got like how can I say this? You got this amount of stages or levels. Every time you pass, it started out horizontal, but every time you succeed in the level, the ground gets much more
Slippery.
yes, it gets much more steeper until some of the very few last levels would be so steep that you're basically climbing on a side of a mountain.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
That actually does sound kind of cool. I have a suggestion though, just for the beginning of it. What if the game pulls a Mario Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, where it starts out you think you're just playing just a port of Ice Climbers, Then when you get past like a certain point, the game opens up and gets even bigger, and you're like, damn, this game is bigger than I anticipated.
You know, it's
And
basically
Like
then
Mario
new
vs.
mechanics
Donkey
come in.
Kong?
Yeah, because technically
Yeah.
that's the first Mario vs. Donkey Kong game, because it has a lot of the same mechanics. Mario handstanding and doing that weird jump and stuff.
Yeah, or basically what they took the cue from the Donkey Kong 1994. They basically did the same. They basically Nintendo basically did the same thing with Kid Icarus Uprising. Thought that they was gonna end right there. Oh no, it got more stuff on the way.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, what if they did that for an Ice Climbers game? That'd be cool, actually. I would play that.
Heck yes.
And perhaps they'll get. And will they have new supporting characters in that new Ice Climbers game?
They actually could.
Yeah,
Heck,
you could.
they could even
I mean,
let's just start out in a Eskimo village for all we know.
I mean, we also need to
I'm
know
gonna pull
whether
the
or not
Sonic
whether or
Advance
not-
2 or 3
we also need-
on
we
us.
also need- All right, continue, Jewel.
I was saying, you're thinking of pulling a Sonic Advance with the Ice Climbers?
Well, a Sonic X.
Advance.
Oh,
Sonic Advance. Yeah. I don't know. Sonic Advance.
Probably, but
And will we also
yeah,
get
not
to,
really.
and will we also get to find out whether or not Popo and Nana are siblings?
Well, aren't they supposed to be siblings?
I mean,
Yeah, they're supposed to be siblings.
There's speculation that they could be either lovers or siblings.
I always thought they were siblings. Like, that's what they said in the on the trophy for them in Melee. That they were siblings. So I don't know why anyone thought they were lovers. Although, I mean, hey, you know, I mean, in this Game of Thrones world. They could be both.
I blame that show and modern anime for popularizing incest.
Man,
Enough said, ladies and gentlemen.
incest has been in culture in fiction for longer than anime has existed. So it's been longer than that. But
Now, yeah. Before you go, Red, I just want to read the side chat. For honorable mention, Metal Mid said he just wanted to continue what they were doing with Kid Icarus Uprising. Also, F-Zero would be cool. We know we have Fast Racing Neo, but we need Captain Falcon back. Yeah.
Falcon Punch.
He also said he would say try to collaborate with the studio who did Bravely Default for Mario RPG, or maybe the guys who are working on Octopath Traveler, which is actually the same studio that did Bravely Default.
I'd play that game. That'd be cool. So I guess it's my turn.
Yep.
The game that would make me go gaga, and I mean completely gaga, like my head would explode and I'd lose my shit. The game that would make me just go completely into orbit.
Is it Advance Wars?
No. I mean, I like Advance Wars, but I wouldn't like lose my shit over it. No, the game that would do it for me would be a new installment of the open world action adventure game, Donkey Kong Country.
And I gotta bring back the DK rap as well.
Just hear my pitch before anyone starts groaning in intense disgust. What if they took the engine from Mario Odyssey and the platforming ability of Mario Odyssey with the open world beat 'em up, you know, Donkey Kong pulling out a gun and busting a cap in someone's ass that you had in Donkey Kong Country 64, and just melded those two things together and gave us a world that was huge that you could explore and do all types of cool stuff in, and do like fight bosses and shoot people in the face with a shotgun.
If Donkey Kong is able to shoot, make it as smooth as like Ratchet and Clank or something like that.
And no unnecessary switching out monkeys in order to get bananas. You don't have to do any of that. The only time you have to switch out is when there's like specific things like, oh snap, there's a rat battle going on. I'm gonna have to switch out to Cranky because he's gonna have to take it to the fridge.
or how there are certain areas that only certain taunts could enter.
Yeah, like, oh snap, someone's gonna have to. That's an airship. Well, and we don't have a cannon to launch anyone up there. Diddy, get your jetpack. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, like, none of this. Oh, there's a red balloon. Only Donkey Kong can hit it. I'm gonna have to switch out to Donkey Kong. And none of that. But like, each Kong can collect any color bananas. Although there are certain areas where it's like, okay, this is clearly a Dixie Kong area. This is clearly a Cranky Kong area. Like, I would like to see that. That would make me lose my stuff if we had another 3D open world action adventure exploration Donkey Kong Country. And now that the technology is here, we could actually have the things they were trying to do on 64 and failing. Like, we could have swinging from vine to vine. We could have an actual jungle with lots of trees and like stuff in the environment. You could, and bring back King Cruel. I'm tired of tiki masks and friggin' seals.
You're not the only one.
Walrus.
You're not the only one. Everyone misses the Kremlins as well as King K. Rool.
Bring back King Cruel. That's all I'm saying. Just bring back King Cruel and Crusher and Kalubba and Kalunk and the critters and the critters and the Kremlings and Naughty Beaver, which almost sounds dirty, really. And Necky.
Well, Rare has been known to implement sex jokes.
Yeah, that's why I said that sounds almost kind of dirty. But yeah, just come on, man. And look, bring the Ukulele Studio to help out, because those people made those games. Come on, man. Come on. Give them a chance to redeem themselves, because they know where their bread and butter is.
And bring back the other animal friends that aren't named Rambi and Squawks.
Yeah, bring back Espresso, the ostrich, On Guard, the swordfish. You can bring back that angler that lets you see in the dark underwater. You can bring back that snake that could jump. That weird spider with the
shoes,
with the tennis shoes. Yeah, bring them all back. Bring them all back. And as long as Cranky is a playable character, and I get to have him hit people with his cane, that I need to have Cranky as a playable character hitting people with his cane.
Yeah.
Speaking about that Ice Climbers games, I wasn't actually going just only 2D, because for what I described, they can put it in three-dimensional as well.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I think that if they did like a Donkey Kong 94, like they did on the Game Boy and Super Game Boy, although I had it for the Game Boy because I did not have a Super Game Boy, because I was like, no way am I paying for another Game Boy when I already have a Game Boy. Just so it's on a bigger screen. Yeah, I think they would have to make it a more bigger and expansive game. Like, it couldn't be like, it's 2D, pay $60 for a 2D game. No. Nope.
Now, unless it got content in it.
No, not unless that game was 80 hours long or longer.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, that's my that's it. That's my game I would go nuts for. So anyone here want to pimp out whatever they want to pimp out, and then we'll wrap things up.
Well,
Specials, I got nothing.
Well, there was some news I actually wanted to bring up that we missed last week, but I'm gonna rapid fire them. Man,
Go ahead. Let's get it out now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What did we miss?
Well, we missed that. Remember Slightly Mad Studios? You know, the same company that wanted to put Project Cars on the Wii U, but then they basically skedaddled.
Canceled it.
You mean they lied and said they were going to put it on the Wii U?
Yeah, that too. Well, apparently they made a deal with EA, and they almost got. I was about to use that word. No, I'm not gonna say. Let's just say they almost got cannibalized by EA before they decided to switch, get away from them, and basically one of the developers of Slightly Mad Studio was basically thrashing EA for trying to buy them out or say eat them up. So I was like, you know, either that actually happened and you guys probably would have deserved it, or what actually happened, they barely got away scathed. And say, yeah, dude, I would say karma, but I digress.
You know, here's what I'll say. Yeah, they kind of screwed over Nintendo gamers who helped crowdfund that game, you know, and they did get screwed over. But the man, I read the article, and the man is too detailed about how EA works, and he's not the first person who's told us how EA works. EA did that shit. They did it because that's what EA does. And I mean, you know, we know that EA is a terrible company. They eat smaller studios and spit them out. They take the best and they spit it out. They leave nothing else. So, you know, that's the world we live in these days.
Yeah. So next we got PlayerUnknown Battleground developer concerns similarities of Fortnite Battle Royale. I'm like, why would you say this? You should have just kept your mouth shut and just let it play it out. But no, you have to say something like that. And apparently, I think it was Epic. Don't quote me on that. That was basically doing the publishing for PUBG, Battleground, PlayerUnknown Battleground, and basically basically give a shout out to Fortnite, and the developer of PUBG didn't like that. Now it kind of ended from there, but when the media took this, they were like, they kind of went very hard on the PUBG developer, basically saying, well, if you're saying that, then all the battle royale of your game, you basically took that from other games that came before you. I'm like, that's true. And if we go even further, then technically any other developer or publisher that basically came about this genre, or even the first person shooter mechanic would be open to sue you for basically copying what they've done. Like, another point taken. But yeah, since then it kind of gotten way out of control, and I kind of missed this earlier because I got it from the know, from the know on YouTube, and how they explained the situation. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad when this thing started, because everyone was basically thrashing at this developer for even uttering something like that.
Not to mention their game is using Epic's engine, and so why would Epic not want it to succeed? Like, because they're going to get paid if it sells over a certain amount anyway. They get a cut of the profit. So I mean, you know, and not too bright.
Oh. And there's one other news I forgot to mention.
What's that?
It was confirmed by the staff, from the developers for Super Mario World, that Mario originally was punching Yoshi to make him stick out his tongue.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, I was like, when I was looking at that, look at the animation alone, and if it's by punching, then technically, then that means Mario was punching Yoshi on his beak, because it sure was, was punching it on top of his head. But
He
yeah,
was punching him in the back of the head, because the way Yoshi's head was, if you were Big Mario, like the way his hand was moving, like he was punching him in the back of the head, and that made him spit. But I mean, why are we surprised? This is the same character who would you could abandon Yoshi in mid-flight to drop him into a deadfall pit.
Hey, that's clear control. So that's anyone's interpretation.
Why is anyone surprised? Oh man, he abused Yoshi. Yeah, and
all this news does is give evidence of the Mario psychotic games theory.
Well, he is. I mean, let's not forget he does light his enemies on fire and steal their rides. I mean,
but then if you say that, then just about any Warner Brothers cartoon and with slapsticks and Hanna-Barbera and all the cartoons that still are created today that has that kind of a slapstick manner are homicidal too. Correct.
There's some sick people, but I mean, it is what it is. But
yeah.
So that's all the information. So anyone else have anything else they want to pimp out before we wrap?
I just realized. I just thought about it. Huh?
Oh, Nintendo. My Nintendo in Europe's My Nintendo has the Super NES Mini as a 300 platinum points reward.
What?
That's some bullshit, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's only in Europe.
That's still some bullshit.
That's as ridiculous as some headphones I recently seen. They're 18 karat gold and our trademark and are representing Assassin's Creed. Anybody want those?
Oh wait,
what?
oh wait, my mistake. It says here that the NES Mini in Europe holds a code for 300 platinum points from my Nintendo.
Oh well, I mean, that's basically $30. So I mean, that's really not a lot. Hell, I've spent more than that on my Switch.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I have. I've spent well
as
over $30 on my. I've spent huge sums of money on my Switch.
Yeah.
Would you spend $60?
And Bethesda made their own Skyrim SNES box art cover.
Wow, they're really trying to pump that. They're really trying to pimp that game out, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely marketing 101.
I'm amazed because you know why? Because they're trying to make money now. So all these years that they shit on Nintendo, that was just them shitting on Nintendo.
Yep. And hopefully,
yeah, because they're obviously not making money on Microsoft PC or Sony anymore.
Well, no, I mean they're trying to make money. That's why they're monetizing. That's why they're monetizing DLC, paid mods.
Yeah.
And Sakamoto confirmed that there are currently no plans for another Metroid remake.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah.
I mean, hell, the last time he did a Metroid remake was Other M. So, I mean, but before Super Metroid 2. So, I mean, and those are all the games that kind of need remakes. I mean, do we need a remake of
Super Metroid? Heck
yeah.
No.
Do we really need a remake of Super Metroid? Really?
This is how I work with.
And that's about it.
So yeah, and that's it. Anyone have anything else they want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Well, I still got a few more, so let me so let me make this quick. Yeah, we know about the whole scandal about the NBA 2K18 corrupting save files. Was getting patched later. After what I've seen, the bullet points of how much thing that thing has to be fixed. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that's something right there. Then this one is just my personal complaint. And I saw this from Nintendo Everything. Well, I first saw this on Google Plus. Someone posted this from Nintendo Everything. Sonic Forces episode Shadow will be free coming at launch first, and they had a first video of it. Now, what they used a banner that looked like a costume of Shadow. So I really didn't take that into account. So I'm like, I'll just pass it on. But then when I've seen the video, I'm like, wait a minute, that's actually Shadow. I went back to that post, clicked on it, looked on. Well, yeah, they're using the banner which they have the Shadow costume, but I'll scroll down, seeing, oh, this is the same video that I've seen. I'm like, this is maybe just my complaint, my personal complaint. But if you're going to make a news like this and have something, some banner up there that doesn't really fit with the news, that's misleading. I mean, sure, you could have just used an old artwork of Shadow and that's it. I'd be totally fine with. But that's just me. I digress. Moving on. Then we have shoot. Actually, I have to open this because this is like opening a can of worms here. But let's just say I'll pass on until the web page comes up. But then we have Square Enix trying to get the main Final Fantasy 15 on Switch, talking with Nintendo and Epic. And I'm going to go back on this one because there was something that happened that this developer brought up after that. So keep that in mind.
Didn't they say there are no plans to put Final Fantasy 15 on the Switch?
Oh snap! You just made that spoiler. But anyway, let's jump in. So this person. Was it Tatabi or something like that? Well, if you're going to make news or spread news like this, because this is like what the fifth news of him saying something that he contradicts. Say one thing, and then the next time contradicts the first one, and that happened like 5 times already, and now finally saying that there's no official plans. If you could have just saved yourself the trouble and the embarrassment. That last news that you sent out, you could have just said no plans for Switch or no comment. Done. Not all this tomfoolery. You kind of sound like, you know what? You went to TGS and basically got drunk, and now you're just mumble stuff up. So yeah, say now this dude here, he really needs a PR of his own. Speaking of PR, now the whole Sega aware of Sonic Adventure 3 interest, but will only happen if it can advance the series. You know.
That's a bad pun.
Yeah. When you say it like that, you're gonna have people that's going to rile on you, especially when you say only if it advanced the series. So let me get this straight.
We haven't advanced the damn series. Sonic hasn't done anything new in a 3D game since Sonic Adventure. So what's the point?
I would say yeah, it has done something new, but only new when it comes to the series itself, because it was something that others has done before. But I digress. But if you're saying that, so let me get this straight, Sega. Of all the games that flop, and it's not all of them, you never thought to go back and actually refine what was the concept was good. Execution wise, it was not so great. So you couldn't have gone back and refined something that you already knew, or you were working on with 2 games already after maybe one flop, say Sonic 06 or Sonic Boom. I can keep on, but yeah, you had at least these 2 missed opportunities, Mel. And now you're saying that. Man, if you look at the comment section, at least on Nintendo, everything about this news, not many people were happy. Just to say it respectively. Even I was not so happy about that. But yeah, then we got Gear Club Unlimited physical release is a GameStop exclusive in the U.S. So people, if you actually wanted Gear Club Unlimited physically, you can only get it on GameStop. Even though they'll make a deal with the devil, but if that's the only way you can get it, or you can just wait it out, have other people get it on GameStop, then possibly got them in the sell them back after they finish with the game on a bargain bin, which may not be only GameStop, but any other electronic store. Then you got yourself a game. And also, speaking about GameStop, there's also news about them that certain stores were found refusing to sell Switch without bundles. Now, a PR from GameStop said that they shouldn't do this, but yet they did. And I'm wondering, these certain stores that was actually doing this type of tactic, I'm wondering if there's going to be any sort of repercussions. I don't think there's going to be any. Come on, man.
Why do you ask such an obvious question? You know nothing's going to happen. Because GameStop is desperate. They're desperate. They're desperate, but they won't change their shitty business practices.
Yeah.
How long do they have until they go bankrupt?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting until GameStop goes bankrupt. Just like they ran all the little mom and pops out of business with their bullshit, I'm waiting for them to go bankrupt. I'm waiting for them to lose all their money. And when that day happens, I'm gonna find my local GameStop and laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh and laugh and laugh. I mean, I'm sorry for the people who are gonna lose their job, but GameStop has done some foul business. Foul business.
But yeah. Now, on to the last tidbit of news, and this is pertaining to Nintendo itself. Well, basically, Reggie Fils-Aimé on why Nintendo keeps information close to the vest, trying to make as many Switch units as possible. Now, when I looked at the, I guess you can say a small interview or something like that, but there was one thing that actually caught my eye, and before I know it, I knew this is going to be a bit of a backlash of what he said. Basically, he was saying, and I quote, "As we look at the overall business, we're constantly looking to do the right thing for the consumer. We actually sold through almost 2.8 million Switch units, so we dramatically over-deliver. And yet, the demand outpaces supply." Yeah, I have a problem about the "so we dramatically over-delivered." And maybe that was at the time that the Switch were still selling so fast. Yeah, it basically said outpaces the supply. So by saying dramatically over-delivered, Reggie, I would say that's a poor choice of words, because as you said after that, basically contradicts this sentence. but yeah.
Not really. I mean,
Really?
if they were expecting to sell if they were expecting initially to sell 1.8. Initially, they thought they were going to sell 1.8, and then they revised it to 2 million, and then they wound up having to go with with another shipping another 800,000. That's basically an increase. If let's say 2 million was 100%, they had to increase their supply by another 40% on top of that, roughly, in order to meet demand, and they still didn't meet demand. So, I mean, you basically had to go 40% above your capacity. And you have to remember, Nintendo does not have the base resources of a Microsoft or a Sony. Like, not for home consoles. So for them, yeah, they did over-deliver. Now, for compared to a Sony or a Microsoft, no, but I mean, Sony and Microsoft have dedicated factories that make just shit for them. Generally speaking, Nintendo doesn't, except for their handhelds.
Yeah. Thank you, Red, because that was my first initial thought. But because I'm still gonna dock points for Reggie saying that, I wish, because this is the media that he's going on about. Because if he didn't actually explain what he meant by that, there might have been no backlash.
Well, he made the assumption that people understood what he was talking about. But Joe Blow average consumer doesn't know anything about business. They just want Joe Blow average consumer doesn't know about supply and demand and cost and benefit and stuff like that. They say, I go to the store, I want to buy this, it's not there. Why is it not there? Kiss my ass, I want it right now.
Yeah, the poor choice of words, but yeah. Now, I wanted to compare this with another interview that he's done, and people basically lynched him on it. Which no, he actually said what he needs to say about Nintendo is not just a gaming company; it's an entertainment company. Now people were quite upset about that, and I'm like, you can be upset about it, but in how he's using it, it's a broad generalization. So technically, he's not wrong for saying that. As you can say, gaming is part of entertainment, but he didn't actually specifically say that we're in this, and that. No. Because what he said, yeah, we could be focused on this. This we're not. So.
But haven't they always been an entertainment company? I mean, Hanafuda cards for entertainment, and then they did Love Hotels. That's entertaining. They own part of the Seattle Mariners. That's fun. Then they did Game Watch. That's fun. And, I mean, they've always been an entertainment.
Yeah, which is why, you could be mad about it, but he is not lying on this one.
His body is ready.
Almost ready, but yeah. That's all I got right now.
You're having fun.
Okay, then. So we've reached the end of the podcast. I guess we'll let everyone else do their sign-offs first, and then I'll end it and close it out. So, who wants to go?
Be sure to visit Video Game Facts. And what I'm currently doing is a creepypasta gaming month where I post articles of video game related creepypastas each day until November 1st. And that is all.
I don't know what a creepypasta is, but that sounds creepy.
It is creepy. Trust me.
I mean, you never read a creepypasta before, Mr. Red Fox?
No.
I hate the plague.
I don't even know what I played one game made by a friend of the channel, Mario TGP, and it was based off of a creepypasta, but I still don't know what exactly a creepypasta is. Is it supposed to be like an urban legend?
Story behind the game,
like Bloody Mary or
there fan fiction stories that are kind of not really, I guess, creepy or kind of meant to be funny and creepy?
Basically, it's scary stories involving video games possessed by evil spirits, involving
it's
video
like-
game characters dying and hyper realistic blood, even despite the game's graphic limitations.
So it's like Bloody Mary or Candyman, except for video games.
Yep, pretty much.
Wow. Well, more power to you on that. Who wants to go next?
This is Joy, the Gaming Mage, and I'm glad to talk up with you guys around here.
Yeah, we had a long one this time, but it was worth it. Kenoshi, you go next.
I might start up my podcast on Fridays again.
All right. And that's all, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. So who wants to go next?
That would be me. I would say, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I just want to give a shout out to the people at the live chat. It was Metal Milk, Yin Yang Yao, and also Interlect 123. And for some reason, my live chat just snubbed the other people, which I wanted to shout out with. But anyway, but those people, I say again, thank you for tuning in. Also, I actually wanted to go a little bit more in depth with the whole FIFA 18 and NBA 2K4 situation, but we were actually going to leave that for Dr. Feelgood's AGOL cast whenever he gets everything sorted out. But yeah, you see you guys there. But yeah, this was the BS Busters with Red Fox, and this is Triple M here. We'll see you guys in the next show.
Yeah, and this is Mr. Red Fox. Some stuff I forgot to do at the beginning of this, I'll do at the end. Our thoughts, prayers, and hearts go out to people who are suffering right now in Puerto Rico, the cleanup and all that stuff. We hope that everything works out for you guys. Also, those of you who are still in Texas who are still being affected by Hurricane Irma. Everyone else who's being hit by extreme weather, people in Mexico with the earthquake, all that type of stuff. Our hearts and minds go out to you, and we hope that the pain and suffering you're going through is over as quickly as humanly possible, and you can overcome this because you're strong, resilient people. That being said, this is BS Busters. Stay tuned. I might do something for Halloween this year. It'll probably be a let's play of a quote-unquote scary game. I might do, right now it's between Dragon Age Origins, because there's some truly scary stuff in that, and Shadow Man, so look forward to that. And I still have some other stuff that was supposed to come out this week, but life's been a you-know-what, so I'll do the best I can. And with that, I bid you a good night. Peace.
Peace.